A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
You will have difficulty believing what you're about to hear, but it is true. Names and places have been changed to protect not only the innocent, but the terrified. For this is the actual circumstance of a man who walks in the shadow of death, and because of the nature of our laws, can find no protection from the person who threatens to kill him. He lives today, if you can call it living, in a great American city, not knowing from one minute to the next when his assailant may strike. Upon his horrible predicament, we have fashioned a chilling story of suspense. And now, No Hiding Place, starring Jim Amici. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Shall I order more coffee, Mrs. Marshall?
No, thanks, darling, but say it again.
More coffee?
No, silly. Mrs. Marshall. This is Edward Marshall. I love to hear it.
So do I, Mrs. Marshall.
Oh, Eddie, darling, we've got so much to celebrate tonight. Your promotion, our second anniversary.
Our second anniversary.
Well, we've been married a whole 2 weeks.
Sue, darling, do you realize that at this rate we'll celebrate our golden wedding anniversary before we've been married a year?
Our golden wedding day. Oh, darling, it's so wonderful to be able to look forward to it. The real one, I mean.
Sue, what's the matter?
That man.
Where?
Over there at the bar. For a moment, I thought it was...
Carl?
Can't be. Silly of me. Oh, just look at this dress. Coffee all over it.
Here, let me help.
But it couldn't have been Carl, could it?
Of course not. But even if it was, you're not married to him anymore.
No, and I never want to see him again. That's why I left New York, to get away from him. Oh, such a mess. Darling, I'll have to go to the powder room to clean this off. Do you mind?
Take your time, darling. Oh, waiter. Check, please. What's your hurry, Eddie? It's early yet. Huh? Who are you? Carl? Carl Myers. Look, I thought that I was in New York. Not since Sue ran out on me. Just took me a while to catch up with her. You followed her here? Yeah. Maybe we'd better get one thing straight right now. Sue wants no part of you. She never wants to see you again. Oh? And you poisoned her mind against me. How could I? I don't even know you. I don't know anything about you. You don't have to know anything to make up lies about me. Lies? Look, Myers, this is ridiculous. Why should I make up lies about you? How else could you have taken her away from me? What do you mean, take her away from you? I mean, you broke up my marriage with lies. Broke up you... Well, I never even met Sue until months after she divorced you. That's your story. Now, look, Myers, whatever went wrong with your marriage had nothing to do with me. But I'll bet it wasn't Sue's fault either. Are you accusing me? If you want to put it that way, yes. You had your chance with Sue, you failed. I did not fail. It looks that way to me. No, it wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. Well, no matter whose fault it was, Sue's married to me now, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yes, there is, Eddie. There's something I can do. Something I'm going to do. What's that? I'm going to kill you. Oh, come on now.
Coffee came right out. All it took was a little...
Hello, Sue.
What do you want, Carl?
I just happened to be in town on business.
Your business wouldn't bring you to this town.
Well, I changed jobs, you see, and...
You got fired, more likely.
Sue, I think we better be going. Let me buy you a drink, just for old time's sake.
I saw enough drinking when I was married to you. Eddie, let's go, please.
Eddie? What? Remember, I'll be seeing you. Neither Sue nor I had much to say on the drive home, but I knew that she was upset. By the time we reached home, She had quietly torn her handkerchief to shreds. Hello, Louie. Good dog, Louie. How do you sleep in bed today?
Hmm? Oh, yes. I set him at noon. Eddie, I'm afraid.
Of what? Carl?
He scares me.
Now, you are being silly.
Am I? He threatened to kill you, didn't he?
Oh, he'd just been drinking too much, that's all.
But he did threaten you.
What if he did? It didn't mean...
I knew it. I knew I never should have married you.
Hey, what kind of talk is that?
Oh, Eddie, he's got some crazy idea that... Well, every time I'd go out with somebody in New York after our divorce, Carl would get the idea that man had broken up our marriage. He got so I was afraid to date anybody for fear that Carl would do something to him. That's the reason I left New York. I had to get away from Carl.
And that's why you never wanted to talk about him.
Oh, I was afraid that if you knew, you'd get scared like the others. I was afraid that you wouldn't want to marry me.
You don't think that would have stopped me? I love you, Sue.
Oh, and I love you. But don't you see? That's why it's different this time. I wasn't married to those other men. Now Carl will be sure that you made me leave him.
Honey, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, it makes Carl's kind of sense. Darling, there's something inside him that keeps him from succeeding at anything. And when he fails, when he loses his job or his wife or even an argument, it's always somebody else's fault. He can't admit failure. He always blames somebody else.
Honey, you've got to stop worrying about it.
Eddie, let's go away.
You mean run away?
All right, run away.
Where? You've already tried it, and you've just discovered that it doesn't work. Besides, we don't have to run. If Carl gives us any trouble, I'll just go to the police. Okay, Louie. Okay. I better take him for his walk.
No, let me take him.
Now, don't worry. Nothing's going to happen. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Louie had almost completed his inspection of the neighborhood when I suddenly realized that someone was following me. Quiet, Louie. Quiet, boy. Who's that? Who's there?
Hello, Eddie. Surprised to see me again so soon?
Quiet, Louie. Look, Myers, why don't you go back to New York and leave us alone?
Sure. Just as soon as I finish the job I came here for.
So go ahead and finish it and get out of our lives.
You wouldn't want me to do that right now, would you, Eddie?
Put that away.
I thought you might want to see it. Take a good look, Eddie.
Put it away, Carl. You're a lousy actor.
I'm not acting. This is the gun, Eddie. This is the gun I'm going to kill you with.
I'm warning you, Carl. Put that gun away or I'll...
Do what? Go to the police, maybe? To the police station right around the corner? Come on, I'll go with you.
What?
Sure. Won't do you any good. I can kill you any time I want to, and you can't stop me. The police can't stop me. You'll see.
Sergeant, I need a little help.
All right, sir. What's the trouble?
This man just pulled a gun on me and threatened to kill me.
Is that right? Sergeant, if I threatened to kill my friend here, would I follow him into a police station right afterwards? You two guys know each other?
Not exactly, but I'm married to his ex-wife.
Oh. Well, no, that, huh? Look, why don't you both just go home and sleep it off?
But I told you, he's got a gun.
You got a gun, mister? Of course not. You heard him.
Search him. You'll find it.
No, I can't. Unless you've got evidence or maybe a witness.
What do you mean?
Well, did anybody here make this threat?
No.
Can you prove that he's carrying a gun? Do you know where he bought it?
No.
Then I can't help you.
I don't see why not. You're a policeman. Isn't that what policemen are for?
We got our orders. If I search this man, I can get fired from the force. Maybe sued for damages, too.
But
evidence or a witness?
But if the police can't help me, who can?
Right now, son, nobody can help you. That's right, Eddie. Like the sergeant says, nobody can help you. Nobody.
After all, he was only a precinct sergeant. So the next morning, I went straight to police headquarters, to the Homicide Bureau. I was sure I could get help there.
Well, it's like this, Mr. Martin, is it?
Marshal.
Well, it's like this. We can't pick this guy up for intent to kill just on your say-so. If we did things like that, every man with a grudge against his next-door neighbor would be down here claiming the guy had threatened to kill him.
But Carl Myers did threaten me.
Yeah, that's what you say. But you also tell me that he denied it. That's your word against his. Who are we supposed to believe? We're policemen, not mind readers.
There must be something you can do.
Yeah. Well, is he clean?
Clean?
Yeah, clean. Does he have a police record?
Oh. No, I don't think so. I'm sure he doesn't.
Oh, it's too bad. See, if he did, we could chance picking him up, but not if he's clean.
Then you can't help me.
Look, Mr. Martin, it's...
Marshal.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Marshal, we get complaints like this every day. You see, somebody's always threatening to kill somebody. Do you know how many of them actually do?
No.
Maybe 1 in 5,000. That's all. Out of 5,000, just one.
And what if I'm that one? The detective had no answer to that question. A big help he was, sitting there picking his teeth while a madman stalked me. It was then that I thought of another possible answer. Carl certainly acted like a man who belonged in a mental institution. It might be just possible to have him committed it. I hurried over to ask my lawyer. Well, what do you think? Will it work?
Well, it's entirely possible, Eddie. Now, of course, it might not be advisable.
Why not? If Carl were committed, he couldn't shoot me.
Yes, if he were committed.
But you just...
Yes, I said it is possible, Eddie. But there's no assurance that such a proceeding would result in commitment.
But there is a chance, isn't there?
Yes, there's a small one.
I guess any chance is better than none.
No, not necessarily, Eddie. To have Myers put away, you see, you'd have to sign the charge sheet against him. Now, he has the right to examine that, to learn the identity of his accuser. And if committed, which, as I said, is unlikely, he would almost certainly be released within 2 or 3 months.
Better than ever.
Exactly. So, Eddie, my advice is to drop the idea.
And so another door closed in my face. But I wasn't through yet. There was a higher authority which could order the police to arrest Carl, the district attorney.
But, Mr. Marshal, even if we found a gun on this man, we couldn't use it as evidence against him. The law won't let us.
That's crazy. What kind of a law is that?
It's a decision of the state Supreme Court. Similar rulings have been handed down in several states. Their principle is to ensure the individual's constitutional right of freedom from unreasonable search and seizure.
Even if the individual is guilty? Even if he's a homicidal maniac?
All men look alike to the law, Mr. Marshal. It protects the guilty as well as the innocent. The police sergeant was entirely right when he asked you to produce evidence or a witness. If you can't, I can't order Carl Myers arrested. Not at least until he commits an overt act.
What would you call an overt act?
An attempt to kill you.
You mean I've got to get murdered before you can help me?
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that.
But you're telling me it has to come to that, aren't you?
Mr. Marshal, let's not get excited.
Not get excited? You tell me the law can't help me. You tell me you'll arrest Carl Myers after he kills me, and you tell me not to get excited. How would you like to be in my shoes right now? Suppose you tell me that. Well?
Mr. Marshal, just between us, I'd be scared to death.
I had no place else to turn. Carl had been right. Nobody could help me. Nobody. As I left the courthouse, I felt I was the loneliest man in the world. I was starting across the street, laughed in my own fear.
Eddie, you ought to watch where you're going. I could have run you down. Real easy.
You were trying to hit me.
No, Eddie, I just wanted you to realize how easy it is to kill a man. But when I kill you, it was dying by accident. Let me see, Eddie.
I was a bundle of nerves when Sue picked me up at the office. So upset I had to let her drive. There's only one thing I can do.
What's that?
Get a gun and kill her.
Eddie, you couldn't.
Why not? The law protects him, but protects me the same way.
And what about afterwards?
Afterward, I'd still be alive.
And you'd be a killer. You'd be arrested, tried for murder. Is that what you want?
Well...
Tell me honestly. If you had a gun in your hand this minute and Carl in the sights, could you pull the trigger?
No. No, I guess I don't have that kind of guts.
I'm glad.
The situation was incredible. The 20th century civilization I lived in had suddenly turned into a chrome-plated, neon-lighted jungle. Its intricate system of law, built over 10,000 years, gave me no protection. I couldn't even protect myself, because I was too much a product of that civilization, too steeped in its moral code. As I nervously followed Sue from the car to the house, I realized that death could come at me unexpected, around any corner, out of any doorway.
Oh, get the mail, will you, darling? Dinner will be ready in about 5 minutes. You're getting close.
Sue, what's the matter? Oh, no.
Oh, Eddie, how could he kill a harmless little dog and leave him hanging from the beam?
Like an execution. Sue, it's a warning for me.
No, Eddie, no.
Yes, he means it. He's going to kill me, and I can't stop it.
No, let's call the police.
Call the police? I've been to the police. All I can do now is run.
Eddie, don't go out. Please, you're safe. We're here.
No, maybe he's still here, hiding, waiting for me. I can't just sit here and let him kill me. I've got to run. I've got to get away.
Eddie, come back. Come back.
The sight of the dog hanging in the living room had completely terrorized me. Now I was operating solely on fear. My only thought was to find the crowd and lose myself in it. The only way Carl would dare try to kill me would be if he could catch me alone. Just ahead of me, I saw a crowd coming out of the theater. I hurried to join them, elbowed my way toward the box office. Inside, I'd be surrounded by people. I'd be safe. One, please.
That'll be $1. Huh?
Carl.
$1, please.
Oh, it can't be. It can't.
Don't hold up the line, please. Do you want a ticket or don't you?
I backed away from the window in horror. Through the glass, the ticket covers face. Carl's face leered at me. I turned and ran. Can't be Carl. What is? Am I going crazy? I can't take a chance. I've got to get out of this neighborhood. That bus. Hey, driver, wait! I want to get on!
Fares, please. Have your fares ready.
How much is a round trip to the end of the line back?
We're not coming back, Bud. We're going to the farm.
Oh, Jim. Let me off.
What's the matter, buddy?
Let me off. Open the door. I've got to get off.
Okay.
It was crazy. The driver couldn't have been Carl. Carl couldn't be everywhere. In my panic, I was imagining things. There's a slight resemblance, that's all. I looked around. I was alone. The street was dark, deserted. There's a neon light a block away, and I started toward it. My footsteps echoed in the quiet street. Or was it an echo? Carl? Carl? Of course it's not Carl. I've got to stop imagining things. That's just an echo. See? Just an echo. There's no one following. No one. Almost to that light. I've got to make it before the echo catches me. I've got to run faster. Nothing, officer. You scared me coming around that corner, that's all. No trouble.
Yelling for the police? Can I help?
No, nobody can help. Thanks anyway.
Good night, then. And take care.
I looked at the neon sign blinking on and off. The place was a saloon. I didn't want to drink, but I wanted less to stay on that dark, deserted street. I went inside.
What do you have, mister?
A cup of tea, please.
Tea? Hey, look, we got booze and we got beer. Which have you had?
Oh, I guess booze.
Yeah.
More glass.
Oh, we got bigger?
No, thanks. This is adequate.
I'm glad somebody thinks so. Another one?
Thanks. Guess I will. I don't know how long I sat there. The bartender kept shoving drinks at me. I thought that I had to drink or get out, and I was afraid to get out. Carl would be looking for me. Sooner or later, he'd find me, but I wanted to put that moment off as long as possible. Time was passing too fast. The hands of the clock behind the bar crept closer and closer to 2 o'clock. I dreaded the coming of that hour.
It's closing time, bud. 2 o'clock.
Give me another drink.
I'm sorry I'm closing up.
Oh, but you gotta let me have another little drink.
Look, you had enough. And besides, I lose my license if I sold you a drink after hours.
Yeah? Well, let me tell you a story, then. Funniest thing happened.
I'm sorry, mister. We're closed.
That's all right. I was just looking for my friend here.
Carl.
Ready to go, Eddie?
No, not with you.
Oh, now, come on. Eddie, it's Lee.
Well, I'm sure glad you showed up, mister. I hate to see him leave here like that without somebody to steer him home, you know what I mean?
I know. We have this problem with him all the time.
Bartender, he's lying. I don't drink, honest.
Oh, sure you don't.
Please, he's going to kill me.
Is that right?
Let's go, Eddie.
No, please, don't let him kill me.
Hand with him here.
Sure. Glad to get him out of here. I gotta close up.
Oh, come on. Oh, he's going to kill me. I tell you, he's got a gun.
Does he always get this wild?
Yeah, usually. That's why we try to keep him from drinking. You know how it is.
Oh, don't believe him.
Boy, I sure do know how it is. Well, here he is. Good luck.
Bartender, don't go away. Don't leave me with him, please.
All right, Eddie. Let's get it over with. Into the alley there.
Everything working perfectly for you, isn't it, Carl?
Sure it is. Into the alley.
All right. Go ahead, shoot me. But what'll that prove? You'll still be a failure.
What?
You can't face it, can you? How many husbands of Sue's are you going to have to kill before you can admit you're a failure?
I'm warning you. Don't say that.
Go ahead, shoot. Add another failure to your list.
I'm not a failure. I am not. What's going on there? Get back. Get back, or I'll kill you, too. Stop it, mister. Oh, get back. Get back, stop it.
He's dead, officer. Carl's dead.
Yeah. It was him or me. Mister, do you realize that crazy guy could have killed the both of us? You ought to be more careful, the friends you pick up in bars.
Suspense. In which Jim Amici starred in William N. Robeson's production of No Hiding Place, written William Walker and Morris Lee Green. Reporting Jim Amici in No Hiding Place were Shirley Mitchell, Barney Phillips, Lawrence Dodkin, Jack Crucian, and Wendell Holmes. Listen again next week when we return
And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Talent is an elusive and mystifying phenomenon, and one of the most curious things about it is that it manifests itself in the most unexpected places. One of the most talented sound men in radio broadcasting is Tom Hanley. We did not know until recently that he possesses another talent. He is an extraordinarily fine writer. It is his radio play you are about to hear. Listen then to Tom Hanley's terrifying story, Misfire, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
And now, Misfire, starring William Conrad, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Ground Zero, somewhere in the desert. We are inside the cab where the bomb, this one called Jackhammer, awaits the impulse from control point some 14 miles to the south. Electronic gossips hum and throb their chatter about the health of the patient, suspended 500 feet above the desert floor. But the unfeeling machines neglect to mention a human factor this morning. An imprint of carelessness. A small metal wrench jammed in the track of the electronically controlled door. A shift of sand occurs against one of the great steel legs gripping the desert, and a brown-backed desert tortoise trundles out for a look at his world. A world of sage and sand and space stretching endlessly off into the darkness. No man is in sight. Now, that is good. There have been days of hiding from men, but now they've gone, and the tortoise tries his morning legs and plans his new day.
H-1. Place eye projectors in position and turn back to fireball. 55, 54, 53, 52, 51.
From 100 speakers 50, miles removed 49, from ground zero, the tape-recorded voice begins its countdown. No margin for error now, no 45, turning back. 44, Test shot Jackhammer 43, is underway.
42, 41, 40, 39.
On News Knob, 14 miles away, a photographer from an eastern paper nervously adjusts his goggles and wonders, what would it be without them? 14 miles. Can it blind across 14 miles? A mile and a half from ground zero, a 22-year-old Marine corporal crouches in a trench on his knees, his head rammed into his arms, per instructions. He and 1,999 other Marines there to prove that man is not afraid. Not really. But what if something goes wrong?
33.
What if it's bigger than they think?
32. 31.
He hears the endless
30,
melody of the taped voice.
29. 28. 27. 26.
A little over a mile from ground zero, in a concrete bunker with its air conditioning secured, sits a 37-year-old Englishman, a civil defense man, remembering another time he huddled in a shelter. Only then he was a soldier in London, and the buzz bombs screamed overhead. His uniform, now top secret, designed for the future, and he sits on a padded floor with 12 other men. They want to know what chance their cities will have against the day that
20,
must never come.
18, 17, 16, 15.
At control point, men sit silently, watching instruments
12,
designed to tell them how efficiently Jackhammer does its job.
9,
And the tortoise
7,
lumbers across his front
6,
yard
5,
in search of breakfast.
4, 3, 2, 1.
What happened? Misfire. It's a misfire.
Attention all personnel. Attention all personnel. This is Dr. Thurston. Test shot jackhammer is incomplete due to undetermined failure. Maintain positions till further notice. You are still on detonation alert.
Dr. Thurston?
What is it, Butler?
Everything was normal on my phase until H-49.
Grant, that would coincide with your variance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but Frank, you shouldn't have had any reading at all at that time.
On the sub-relay meter, I didn't. It showed normal, and then there was a complete negative to zero response.
Then there it is, Dr. Thurston. It's an on-site rejection of voltage.
Huh. In other words, the fault lies at ground zero.
According to these data, yeah.
Well, can correction be made from here? We can't have anybody going out there.
We'll know after we check the monitor lists.
There's one consolation, Dr. Thurston.
What's that?
We put it together. We ought to be able to take it apart.
Yes. Yes, we ought to. But can we?
The second act of Suspense continues in 1 minute. And now, we continue with Act 2 of Misfire, starring William Conrad. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. There's no walking away from an atom bomb. No asking who left it there. So it becomes a story of people, the disarming. Lee Thurston, MIT graduate, 1932, old enough to have been appalled at the thought of an atom bomb. Scientific enough to accept it. Human enough to demand influence in its use. John Grant, 36, a red-headed giant who daily deals in miracles, believes in them, makes them work. Frank Butler, former child prodigy, grown bald at 28, bachelor, attendant now at the bigamous wedding of electronics, nuclear fission, and power politics.
An on-site test is the only way to check it out.
No, Butler, that would mean 2 men at ground zero.
But there's no explanation for what we're finding here.
He's right, Doctor. If we accept our data, we have a power failure originating at the cab itself.
With the risk of delayed detonation, Grant. You can't forget that.
I'm not. There are 2,000 Marines and 12 CD men out there. How long can they wait?
Dr. Thurston?
Yes, what is it?
General Manning on the phone, sir. Wants to know if he can evacuate yet.
No, not until we know more about the cause of the misfire. I'll let him know.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Winship.
Yes?
Tell the photo lab I can't wait any longer for those final pictures of the patch bay under the bomb.
I will, sir.
For now, we'll go over those monitor checklists again, gentlemen. We mustn't have any errors.
News Knob has a mathematics of its own. The bomb plus the names of the men in the control point plus a little background data equals a story. Mention that these men were in high school when the first atomic pile was activated. Mention that it would have taken that first pile 150,000 years to make enough plutonium to satisfy the bomb. Point out how the Cold War overcame all that. But tell mostly of the struggle to stop Jackhammer this morning. Hello, New York?
I'll give you Barney, will you, honey? Tell him it's Pierce. Yeah, well, then call him at home. It's important. Hey, where'd you get the coffee? I need some. I'm freezing over here. Here you go. Hey, thanks a lot. Hello, Barney. Now, listen, you better call that off and go on into the office. This may develop into something out here. The bomb didn't go off. No, not a delay. It just didn't take. Well, the rumor we hear is that the last boys to hook it up are going to have to go out and coax it down. How do I know who it'll be? Yeah, I know that's what I'm here for. I know. Yeah, and Barney, don't call me. I'll call you.
The Marine lies flat now, permission granted. He hears wasted advice from his nearest neighbor on how to run an atom bomb test, but he thinks about Vegas, and he wonders whether he'll ever see her again, that girl with the dark hair, the dark eyes, the wonderful smile, and the Cadillac convertible. In the civil defense shelter, it's hot. No air conditioning for 40 minutes now. These heavy clothes and sealed up this way. Somebody better call control. They've bloody well forgotten us. But they haven't. More important things. Like the photo lab with the final pictures of the victim, Jackhammer. Pictures of the bomb, with its viscera displayed, A to B and yellow to ground. The proper circuit for agony.
Well, this one's okay. This one's all right. The pictures show the patch cords are all okay, Dr. Thurston.
Now, wait a minute. Just a minute now. We've always assumed that if we got power to the site proper, that it would go on to the bomb.
Of course. The door to the CAD completes the circuit. Voltage to the door, voltage to the bomb.
All right, then. What if the voltage didn't get beyond the door?
Oh, that's impossible. Our monitors show the door completely closed.
All right, but what if it didn't? For some reason.
What reason? What could go wrong that wouldn't show on the monitors?
I don't know, but it's got to be out there. Let me go check it.
I can't order anybody out there.
I'm asking to go.
I'll go with you, Frank.
No.
Well, if anybody goes, it should be two. You'd need a phone line during the climb in case we found anything here. You'd need test equipment, tools for opening the door manually, radiation test gear, and a wrench. That disconnect would have to be made immediately, Frank.
A wrench?
What's the matter? You look ill.
No, nothing, sir. I've had no sleep, I guess.
500 feet and no power for the elevator, Frank. I'll go with you.
All right. But I ought to go alone.
Act 3 of Suspense follows in 1 minute. And now, we continue with Act 3 of Misfire, starring William Conrad. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. The afterbirth of darkness is light. That insipid gray light of the desert dawn. And the night animals scurry homeward. And the day things began their minor motions. And slowly it begins the gradual creep of light and warmth across the land. Till its source explodes in the vastness of the desert. And there it becomes the sudden kiss of heat. Heat that warms, heat that kills, and the in-between heat, the heat that expands. Man's product, that awkward wrench, lies in its cramped position on the tower. Having severed the connection to the bomb, it tries to make amends by stretching, ever so slightly expanding encouraged by the sun. The electronic condensers on the door await their cue, metal on metal. And that blinding concussion that has no beginning nor any end. And the tortoise, unaware, accepts his gift from the land and goes in search of his image.
I better go up first, John.
No, you've got to man the phone. I'll start first, open the door manually, and check for radiation. Then you shoot in and disconnect the thing.
All right. Hey, John?
Yeah.
You think we'll ever get off the tower?
Hello, Barney. Now, listen, they've started climbing the tower. That's right, 500 feet. I don't know how many stories that is. The Washington Monument is 550, I think, but... Now, look, get this, Barney. Play this one straight, will you? No heroics. This one will stand on its own. Sure, we're on a detonation alert. Well, who knows what's going to happen?
Fear of falling. It never goes away. It only becomes conditioned to the environment, and 500 feet straight up has no relation to man. To look down or not to look down, this becomes the problem. Then what do you look at? The eyes of the man below you? No, they reflect the fear of two men. The expanse of dry lake, do you look at that? No, it shimmers in the coming heat and brings on a dizziness. Or do you look inside at the fear of God? Yes, you might look there. That might help. But for the most part, you climb. You lift each aching limb after the other. The next platform is the last. Well, the Irish do it in their land. The traveler never has more than a mile to go. Never. Just beyond that rise, sir. And then it becomes easier. The next platform, And then the next. And the next.
Just a second, Frank. How you doing?
Okay. How much further?
One more platform, Frank. Just one more.
It's murder.
There's one consolation, though.
What?
Going down. We'll have power to the elevator afterwards, and we'll ride down.
Maybe. If there is an afterwards.
Get on the phone and tell Dr. Thurston we're here.
Okay. Dr. Thurston? Dr. Thurston?
Yes.
We're at the top.
Good. Have you found anything?
Grant is at the door now. We'll make a manual entry as soon as we can.
Good.
Frank, tell him to read the voltage sheet on this door. I don't think it's completely closed.
Check the voltage sheet on the door, Doctor.
Hey, Frank, come here.
What is it?
Yes. Hello. Were you talking to me?
Hold it, Doctor.
Can you see it? Here. Look, from here. There's a small wrench.
Oh, no.
It's wedged in the door there. You see it?
John, it's mine. That's my wrench. I must have dropped it when we were up here arming the bomb.
It can happen. Look, through the glass. It severed the detonation circuit. That's what happened.
But it completed the door contact.
Sure, that's why the monitors didn't show it. Good Lord, Frank. Look how close it is to making contact.
John, that's going to go any second.
Take it easy now. Move and shade that thing. Heat expansion will set it off.
How's this?
Give me the phone. Dr. Thurston. Dr. Thurston, can you hear me?
Grant, is that you?
Now listen carefully. We've found the problem. A small hand wrench has been accidentally dropped into the door track.
Good Lord.
Now, apparently it severed the detonation circuit, but it's so close to making the contact now that we've got to have power to the door.
Not while you're there. Come off the tower. We'll open it.
No, you don't understand. The door condensers are already loaded with enough power to detonate the bomb.
Well, is the wrench above the contact?
Yes.
Then opening the door will drop the wrench and set it off.
Look, you got to give me power, just enough to make the door jump. I'm putting a pair of pliers on the wrench. I'll yank it out as soon as you loosen the door.
What if you miss?
I'll never know about it.
Johnny, I'll do something fast. The sun is
Thurston,
moving.
you've got to. You can't leave us like this.
I can't risk it. Try to get back.
No chance. Now, if you could only see it.
All right. I'll do it. Winship, give me ground zero power on my count. Just do it. I got to explain now. Grant?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Grant, I'll give you a 10-second count.
Make it 5.
All right, 5. Now get a good hold on that wrench. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is that it, Grant? Grant, are we out of it?
Nice going, John.
We're out of it, Thurston. We're out now. The bomb can't go off.
The desert sun works its subtle magic on the wrench, expanding ineffectually on the platform floor. The Marine stands up in the trench. The CD man sheds his top-secret uniform, strips to the cuff unashamed. The newsmen converge on ground zero. The redhead and the young bald man hop from the welcome elevator to see a tortoise scurrying ponderously toward his burrow. And they pick him up. But he pretends not to be there at all. But he is. And they know it. So they take him back to control point to live for another day.
Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
As Mark Antony said, we are all honorable men. And most of us live out our lives of quiet desperation, believing this to be so, since we are never called upon to put our honor to the test. But faced with the ultimate alternative, how many of us would proudly choose death rather than dishonor? What is one man's honor may well be another man's expediency. Upon such imponderables is our story of suspense built. It takes place in a nameless country at a time which could be yesterday or today or tomorrow. But the questions it raises can be answered only by each one of us secretly and to himself alone. Listen then, as Miss Maria Palmer stars in The Wait, which begins in just a moment.
And now, The Wait, starring Maria Palmer, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Someday a grenade.
But not tonight, sir.
Well, that would be the last of them.
No, someone's running from the house.
We'll finish him. You others stand watch. Come, App. Let's check them off. Give me the list. And this one would be the kid, Jordan.
Poor fellow.
3 eyes don't look well on anyone.
Shame he was so young.
He's old now. All right, check off the name Jordan. Yes, that's the finish of it. Delsey, Hagar, Uden, the watchman where their arms were concealed, their truck driver, the girl. The girl.
Well, she must be inside.
We'll look.
My grenade did well.
Not well enough. Where's the girl?
Yes.
Then it is not the last. There is still you.
There is still me.
But how did you... my grenade?
I was in the back. You crept up so silently I didn't
Is he
know.
the last, Jordan?
You know, without asking.
Our information could be incorrect. All we were told was that insurrectionists could be found at this farm. They gave us a list.
Who told? Who informed? What difference does it make now? I can do no harm now. I'm as good as dead.
But you're still alive, which is quite a different matter from being dead, as we all inevitably discover.
Spare me your philosophy. Who informed?
It doesn't matter at this stage of the game.
Like an animal. You slaughtered him like an animal. And the
You'd have
others...
preferred our being pious about it? What would we to do? Throw a prayer in the door in advance of the grenade?
Like animals.
People like you shouldn't be revolutionists.
It's people like me who will free our country.
You shouldn't be revolutionists. It's not fair. A well-fed paunch moves onto some distant political platform. It mutters a few shabby words. It makes a few shabby gestures. And people like you die.
For freedom.
Oh, please. It's almost pathetic.
I'd like to die now, please.
Well, there's no reason to delay, really. All right, App, take her.
Come along with me, dear. It'll be over quick. You just hang on to my hand.
Wait.
Sir?
I'm ready. I swear I'm ready.
No, you're trembling. The night winds here about a chill. App, fetch a blanket, a shawl.
But I thought you said...
Fetch it.
Yes, sir.
What sort of game are you playing?
I apologize. Sincerely. I was curious to see how you would act. As for the game, obviously, a waiting one.
What?
We have to wait for him, don't we?
There's nobody. You have your list. Look at your list. There's no other name on the list.
There doesn't have to be. A man led them. We're waiting for that man.
He won't come. He'll know.
He'll come.
There's no reason for him to come.
There's you.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense. And now, starring Maria Palmer, Act 2 of The Wait.
Are you sure you're warm enough, girl? I could lend you my jacket if you want.
I'm all right. What are they doing outside?
Watching for him. It'll be dawn before long.
They'll call to him, won't they? I mean, they'll give him a chance to surrender.
Well, what will happen will happen.
How is it you are one of them?
Huh? Oh, you think I'm too old for this sort of monkey business, huh? Perhaps you're right. But I'm one of them, well, for the same reason that you were on the other side. Political conviction.
But they're traitors. They betrayed our government and seized power. They oppress the people.
Oh, I dare say that's how it looks to you.
That's how it is. You can't deny truth.
The truth is the government subsidized the potato crop this year.
Why should that make you pleased?
I got a decent price for my potatoes now.
They bought you with a handful of potatoes.
The former government never gave me anything.
They gave you freedom.
I've always had freedom.
You've lost it. Look at yourself, a slave in uniform.
Don't you go insulting me. I'm in the uniform because I want to help the cause.
What about after? Answer me that if you can.
After when?
Once they're firmly dug in power, what then?
Well, I should imagine agriculture and so forth will proceed more smoothly.
With a kind of fertilizer you've just planted.
Oh, now, watch that. There's no call for that sort of talk.
We'll rise again. We'll wipe you and your kind off the map, we will.
Perhaps. All I know is somebody's got to be the boss. The stronger the boss, the less trouble there is.
And you're the kind of man we die for.
No, thank you. I do my own dying.
Listen, you've got to let me go.
Oh, now that spoils it. But I thought this was a friendly talk we were having.
Him, your leader. He said it, and you're saying it. We are common people, us. Why should we harm each other over a parcel of trick ideas while the men whose ideas they are far off and safe?
Well, I won't be tricked, girl.
If you don't let me escape, it's the same as if you yourself executed me.
Well, I may have to do the actual job anyway.
And you call that freedom? Being forced to kill a girl young enough to be your daughter?
They won't be forcing me. They'll order me to shoot you, and I'll shoot you.
You couldn't. They're young, they're cruel, but not you. I could run out the back door into the wood and you wouldn't touch me.
I'd shoot you. I'd have to.
No, you're human.
Well, now you stop edging toward that door.
I could almost be your grandchild. How could you harm your own grandchild?
I warn you, leave the door alone.
I'll be through the door and gone before you notice. You won't give the alarm. You will be thinking, young enough to be my own grandchild.
My rifle is cocked. I warn you, take your hand from the door latch.
Remember, your grandchild.
Before the last time,
Not a sound.
In a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense. And now, starring Maria Palmer, Act 3 of The Wait.
What the devil is going on in here?
She tried to escape. I couldn't let her escape,
You
sir.
could have used your rifle butt.
Well, that didn't seem proper.
You made a fine mess of it. That shot may have warned him off.
I was only doing my duty.
Ah.
She tried to trick me.
How?
They're all out of words, big words like tyranny, freedom, grandchild.
She has more sense than I'd credited.
She said if I didn't let her go, it was the same as if I were executing my grandchild.
You almost have. Just a little too low. The leg's a mess. There's a first aid kit in my pack. Get it.
Yes, sir, right away, sir.
Oh, these sentimental old fools are the worst. Your leg, what a crime. He'd have done better by you to have finished you while he was at it. Or is that what you intended? To sound a warning with the shot?
Think what you like.
That was it, eh? The other one, the last one, he's nearby? Is he? Speak. He's nearby. He is due at some particular hour. Dawn. If he... No, he'd have to come. He couldn't go past without knowing. He couldn't bear the uncertainty. He'll wait. He'll wait until dawn and watch. And he'll see you alive in the yard in front of the house. Then he'll come.
He's gone by now. He's heard the shot. In 20 minutes, he'll be out of the hills on the highway.
Not knowing the fate of his companions? Not likely.
He's hard. He always said, every man for himself.
He'll come down that path out there. Out from the forest.
You're so smug, so sure.
And by the saints, so right. Quick, to the window.
My leg.
Oh, for this, I'll carry you. Now, there. Look.
It's still so dark.
Look. No, at the foot of the path. What do you see?
Flag. A little white flag waving.
Approaching.
It's not him. It can't be him.
Up. Hold fire.
Hold fire.
Tall man. Dark hair. He's wearing a jacket.
A leather jacket. It's not him. Thank heavens it's not him. Run, Willie! Run!
Thank you. I couldn't be too sure there was another. You've confirmed my suspicion.
Willie! Why doesn't he run?
He knows we would drop him. At, bring him to me.
A prisoner, sir? Well, hardly that. Good morning.
You
know each other?
We've met.
Well, after all, they'd never have found this place without my explicit directions.
You are...
Both your leader and the man who informed on you? Yes, I am. And therefore, Grant, I demand amnesty for delivering them up to you.
You'll get it, I think.
No, think about it.
We keep our bargains?
Good. I want it in writing.
I'll see that you're issued the appropriate document.
Stamped, mind you. Valid. What are you staring at, girl?
You.
You've seen me often enough before, if you care to remember.
I remember.
You were fun.
You were a god, I thought. And yet so much a man. Our leader. I was honored, I thought. Among them all, I was most honored.
That you were.
Oh, how I wish it could happen again.
Even now?
Yes, even now. Especially now. So I could blaspheme your godhood and extirpate your manhood.
You're ill cast as a Borgia. Joan of Arc is a better role for you.
I ache. My insides ache. I wish I could tear them out and throw them at you.
You always were romantically inclined. Well, Grant, the safe conduct?
You'll get it. You've been a thorn in our sides these past months. Say, tell me, wasn't it you who sabotaged the power plant at Boguchar?
Why?
Yes, that was us. Not bad work for a half dozen sticks of gelignite.
Well, it was skillful, even brave.
Yeah, we didn't do badly.
Why?
Yes. Why, Billy?
Judith!
Why, Billy?
I want out.
At any price?
Any.
Coward. Miserable, stinking.
Living, breathing coward. They've been closing in on me for weeks, and it had to happen. I anticipated the inevitable, no more, no less.
But you're not dead.
Nor are you.
No, I can't accept that as an explanation.
Doesn't my being washed in the blood of my men cleanse me for export? Am I not ready for a quiet existence in a remote country where there are no politics?
No country is without politics.
How is hell run, by the way?
You informed, not through cowardice.
No?
Not for the sake of expedience.
Say it.
Revenge.
Oh.
You wanted to punish them.
It can't be possible. I'm not hearing it. Hagar. And Hagar saved you from drowning. The night in the canal at Boguchar.
Well, Hagar I tried to preserve hardest of all.
Hagar would be the blonde man, I take it?
That was Hagar. Stand him up in front of a firing squad, and it would be Hagar's voice ringing out defiance as he fell. Oh, they were heroes, one and all.
He's lost his mind.
Unfortunately, no.
I tried. I did all I could.
Her? Well, I never attempted to persuade her. Nothing in her but virtue. She's blinded by a classical education, a saturation of Hectors and Achilles, greater and lesser Greco-Roman heroes.
You're insane.
Watch her face. La patrie. Don't you see? Even in a foreign language, she glows.
Were they, Hagar and the others, enjoying it that much?
Ooh, they moved in righteous glory, a wonder to behold. God was on our side.
God is supposed to be on our side.
Well, naturally. It would be sacrilege to suggest that he would never identify himself with either party, not being that much of an idiot. If they had listened to me, we could have disbanded, gone away, tried to live down our stupidity.
Restrain her, App.
Easy, girl. One day I was just like the rest. I believed fighting was to some purpose, and I fought. The next day I woke with a slight cold and the realization I was a fool. I decided right then I was not going to die for any ideological concept which could better be settled at a business luncheon. I realized what I wanted in my hand was my old student's briefcase. In the other, the handle of a baby carriage. Surely you understand.
Perhaps. See, he gets his safe conduct, App. Go. Tell the men to fall in. We leave here in a couple of minutes.
Correct.
And leave me your rifle.
Sir?
You heard me, your rifle.
Yes.
That's all. Escort this man as far as the beginning of the footpath. Be sure he sets on his way immediately.
This way.
You sit there. I can't determine the expression on your face. I see the tears. So what does the line of your mouth mean? Are you looking at the scene through the window? The sun is well up. The air is clear. You have a pleasant view of the footpath. I imagine Willie will be appearing on that short stretch of open ground any moment. Any moment. You are familiar with the operation of this type of firearm? You are? Good. There is a cartridge in the chamber. I will leave it on the table in front of you within easy reach. App will come back to this room for his rifle in approximately 3 minutes.
Men assemble, sir.
We're almost at the end of our waiting.
That's good, sir.
She has your rifle. She was staring out the window when I left.
You mean for her to use it on herself, sir?
That, or possibly... It's too bad we can't see that open piece of the footpath from here. Still, I imagine that about this instant...
Nothing, sir.
Oh, wait. Another moment.
Well, sir?
I must have misjudged, sir.
No. She's done.
Done what, App?
Well, she's...
Well, I think we can assume somebody is dead. You two men on the double, the footpath. If he's not dead, finish him. App, the house, the girl. Take care of her if necessary. If it's to be futile and meaningless, it may as well be 100% so.
Suspense, in which Maria Palmer starred in William N. Robeson's production of The Wait, written by Herbert Hosey. Supporting Maria Palmer in The Wait were John Daner, Carl Swenson, and Howard McNear. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with Raymond Burr in The Treasure Chest of Don Jose. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Among other characteristics which separate Homo sapiens from the rest of the animal kingdom is the driving dream of the easy buck. We follow it on the racetracks, at Las Vegas, in the bingo games, at church socials. And if these fail us, there's always buried treasure. They say the beaches from the Florida Keys to the New England Capes are loaded with the loot the pirates parked and forgot to claim. All you need is a map and the willingness to work 10 times as hard as you would for an honest buck. Of such a buried treasure is our story concerned. Listen then as Raymond Burr stars in The Treasure Chest of Don Jose, which begins in just a moment.
And now, The Treasure Chest of Don Jose, starring Raymond Burr. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I didn't have a map. I had a poem. A curious bit of doggerel. On Dogbody's Island, you could fare worse if dare you will Don Jose's curse. For there, 33 yards southeast of the Rocky Guards, you'll find a pleasantly fulsome measure of Gasparia's earthly treasure. You should know that I endured a certain local notoriety since I was the great-great-grandson of Don Jose Gasparia, one of the last and one of the fiercest of the pirates of the Spanish Main. This was of much less interest and concern to me than it was to my friends and acquaintances among the Florida Keys. Neither my father nor his father before him had ever profited by a single doubloon from the legendary treasure of our pirate forebear. But then they lacked the clue, which I found one day behind the fireplace bricks of my great-grandfather's house. There could be no question about it. That cryptic verse was as good as a treasure map. It would lead me straight to the hidden gold of my ancestor. But first, I must locate Dogbody's Island. 2 days spent among the old charts in the public library in Key West, and I had it. Dogbody's Island was a tiny sand spit near the tip of Cape Cod, more than 1,000 miles north. 2 days later, I was standing on a cold, windy Massachusetts beach, talking to a local real estate agent.
No, sir. Ain't heard this called Dogbody Island since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Where'd you hear it called Dogbody Island?
I really don't know. Some friend of mine down in Florida, maybe.
Well, it's called Sprague Spit now. Ever since old Captain Sprague bought her up back in 03. Well, there's a house just above that point of rocks. Just a summer cottage. Too dang uncomfortable this time of year.
It looks all right to me.
I can find you something heap sight better in town. Got a nice little house just back of the gas station.
No, I like it out here. I like to be alone.
Yeah, you'll be that all right. Ain't a neighbor in more than a mile and a half.
That suits me fine.
Well, then let's get back into my office in town where it's warm, and I'll oblige you for a month's rent in advance and give you the keys.
Oh, by the way, that point of rocks, is that the only one on the island? Spit?
Yeah. Pirates Point, folks call it hereabouts. Fella says the Buccaneers used to put in here for water in the old days. Me, I don't put much stock in them stories myself. You sure you want to rent this place?
It's just what I'm looking for.
Well, it takes all kinds, I always say.
Cottage was quiet, secluded, and yet within view of that rocky point, which must be the same one Don Jose's poem called The Rocky Guards. I can tell you I scarcely slept that first night. So great was my eagerness to be up in the morning, pace the 33 yards southeast of the Rocky Guards, and begin digging for my treasure. 29, 30, 31.
Morning.
Good morning.
Looks like it's going to be a nice day.
Yes, it does.
I see you got a shovel. Looks like you're going to do some digging.
Oh, yes. Clams. I'm going to dig for clams.
No clams in the surf.
Oh, there aren't?
Nope. Find them on the bayside.
Oh, then I'll look over there.
Don't dig them with a shovel. Got to use a rake.
Oh? Is that so?
Yeah. Too late now anyway. Tide's coming in. Another low tide at 5 this afternoon.
I didn't know. I'm a stranger here.
Yeah, I know. I'm the chief of police.
Anything wrong?
Nope. Town limits come all the way out here, though. All the way to the low tide mark. I thought I'd better come out and warn you.
Warn me? About what?
You see that patch of sand yonder? Beyond the cranberry bog?
Yes?
Quicksand. Fishers.
Thank you.
Going to stay here long?
I don't know. A few weeks. Maybe all winter.
You a writing fella?
No.
Painting fella?
No.
Just taking vacation?
Yes, you might call it that.
Well, nice to have this talk with you. Anything you need in the way of police protection, you just let me know.
So I waited until an hour after sundown, and then, carrying a lantern, I paced off the 33 yards south-southeast of the Rocky Guards and set to digging. Although the evening was chilly, with a brisk breeze blowing in from the sea, I had soon shed my coat and was dripping with perspiration as I attacked the wet, sliding sand with huge bites of my shovel, widening the hole as it grew deeper until my lantern threw long shadows across the opening that had become large enough for a coffin. And then my shovel hit something solid, and there it was. I had found it. An iron-bound chest. The treasure chest of Don Jose. And then I heard voices. Terror seized me. Who came now to violate my supreme moment? Who now threatened to deprive me of what was rightfully mine? I turned the lantern out, scrambled from the hole. A few yards away, I could see the beam of a flashlight slowly approaching. I hid behind a ledge of rocks, my heart drumming in my ears, my held breath screaming in my tightened throat, trying to listen, trying to see.
That patch of quicksand has got to be around here someplace. Hey! What's the matter?
There's a hole here. Nearly fell in.
Huh? This will do great.
There's even a shovel to fill it up.
Ready? 1, 2.
Hey!
What's they doing? Did they know? At last, it was quiet. And I watched their light as they made their way across the island toward the bay. And then, after a long time, I heard the cough of a motorboat. Then I lit my lantern and went back to my digging. The hole was half filled. Suddenly, my terror turned to rage. What had they done? I began digging savagely. But almost at once, my shovel hit something. Something that was softer than the chest and yielded to the pressure. I seized my lantern, crouched over for a closer examination, and found myself looking into the vacantly staring eyes of a corpse.
We continue with the second act of Suspense. Starring Raymond Burr, Act 2 of The Treasure Chest of Don Jose.
As I looked into the open eyes of the corpse, panic seized me. Surely this was one of Don Jose's men buried with the treasure chest to guard it through eternity. I fled in terror, running blindly across the moor to my little house, tormented by 1,000 fears, 1,000 anxieties. Sometime toward dawn, I must have fallen asleep, for the next thing I knew, it was past noon. someone was pounding on my door.
Hey, anybody home?
Just a minute, I'm coming. Oh, it's you, Chief. Good morning.
Afternoon now.
What? Oh, sorry. I was sleeping. I had insomnia most of the night.
Insomnia, Mean you was awake?
Yes.
Most of the night, you say?
Why, yes.
Hear anything peculiar out here?
No. What do you mean?
Prowlers or such?
Why would anyone be prowling out here?
Didn't say there was. Asked if you heard anyone.
No, I didn't.
Got to check. This being in the town limit.
Why? Anything the matter?
Yeah. Kidnapping. Murder, maybe.
Murder?
Yeah. Ain't you heard it on the radio?
I haven't got a radio.
Should. Great consolation for a man living alone.
Well, what happened? Tell me.
Young Harvard fella. Sinful rich. His father paid the ransom, $20,000. But the kidnappers didn't deliver the boy. Got a 3-state alarm out for him. Think they're on the Cape somewhere. Just checking.
Well, what makes you think they'd come out here?
Don't know. Hunch partly. Partly because somebody borrowed one of Jen Chantry's books last night. Found a blood stain in the cockpit this morning. Didn't see him, eh?
No, I told you I didn't.
Yeah. So you did. We'll catch them, of course, if they're on the Cape. Sooner or later, we'll catch them. Ransom monies and small bills, all marked. They'll get hungry sooner or later and spend some. Let me know if you see or hear anything.
Yes, of course. I'll be glad to.
Yeah. Just checking.
So much for the terrors of last night. I had seen no ghost of the past, no corpse of the present. I returned to my digging that evening and quickly disinterred the unwelcome visitor from my treasure hole. Unquestionably, he was the kidnapped victim, a young man dressed in the Ivy League manner of a college boy. I dragged him to one side and set to work. By 7 o'clock, I had uncovered the chest and was about to lift it out of its grave.
Can I give you a hand?
What?
He wants to know, do you need a hand with that?
Who are you? How did you get here?
Low tide, we walked. Get out of the hole.
Oh, answer me.
Help him out of the hole, Steve. Come on, pal. Hey, Jeff.
What's the matter?
The kid's body, it's gone. He got rid of it.
What? Get him out of there.
Okay, pal, come on.
Let me go, please. Let me go.
Where is he? What'd you do with him?
There. I put him over there.
Why did you move him?
Oh, he was...
Hey, there's a box down there.
Yeah. What do you got, pal? Treasure? Buried treasure?
Don't laugh. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, let's get it out of there. Leave it alone. Leave it alone! Shut up! All right, Steve. Let's get it out of there. At gunpoint, they forced me to help them carry it toward the house. My treasure. They forced open the chest and emptied one of the canvas sacks, its contents cascading onto the table in a golden stream of doubloons.
What do you know?
Gold. It's mine. Belongs to me. It's my inheritance.
Yeah, I know, pal. Only you're going to pay a high inheritance tax, 100%.
Okay, now, I'll tell you what we're going to do. My friend and me are in a little trouble. And you're going to give us a hand, aren't you, pal? Go away. Leave me alone. That's just what we're going to do. We're leaving. And we're taking that bright, shiny stuff with us. The treasure's mine. But we're going to be fair. We're going to give you $20,000 in nice, up-to-date American money. How do we know? Maybe that junk of yours ain't worth half that much. Oh, your money's marked. It's ransom money. That's beside the point. This door of yours won't work in a cigarette machine, you know. We're going to have to go to a lot of trouble to cash it. What was that?
Window blew open. raining like crazy outside.
We better get started.
No, I won't let you.
Take it easy, pal. You got no complaints. You're 20 grand ahead of the game. Come on. We gotta get out of here. Grab one under that chest.
You forgetting something?
What?
That sack full on the table.
Oh, yeah. Here, pal. Here's one for you. As a souvenir.
Come on, Jeff.
Yeah, so long.
My treasure. How long I lay sobbing, bereft of my treasure, I do not know. But finally I became aware that the thin frame cottage was creaking and shaking from the relentless wind. The sound of the storm had a familiar tone. A tone I'd heard many times before in the Florida Keys, and I realized that this was no ordinary storm. This was a hurricane. Outside, the waves were piling up, coming closer and closer to the cottage. Over my head, there was an ominous sound, crunching and ripping. The roof would blow loose any moment. I threw myself against the kitchen door and, crouching low, ran away from the sea.
In a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense. And now, starring Raymond Burr, Act 3 of The Treasure Chest of Don Jose.
Behind the shelter of a high dune, I stumbled and fell, spread-eagled on the sand. And suddenly the wind stopped, the rain stopped, and there was the calm of death. It was the center of the hurricane, the eye, the moment of respite before the final fury of the storm. And I remembered the curse of Don Jose and wished aloud for its fulfillment. And there was no sound but the booming of the furious surf. And then there seemed to be a distant human cry, and I looked toward the rocky guards. Far in the distance, in the instant of a lightning flash, I could see the tiny, struggling figures of my tormentors, and then a giant wave crashed down on them. And when the next flash illuminated the scene, the spit disappeared in boiling angry water, and the wet heavens descended again, hurled upon me by the tail of the hurricane. I awoke with a light in my eyes, and I heard a voice.
You all right?
Who is it?
Me, Chief of Police. Got out here as soon as I could. We was worried about you out here with no radio. You couldn't get the storm warnings. Come up so fast, wasn't time to get you off.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind of you.
Lucky you got out of the house.
Why?
Take there no more. Ocean come plumb through, carried the house right into the bay. Made 2 islands out for Sprague Spit. Storms play funny tricks. That kidnapping I told you about?
Yes? What about it?
Found 3 bodies out near those rocks. The kidnappers and their victim. What do you know about that?
Nothing. Nothing at all. You don't believe my story? But look. Here is the gold doubloon from the treasure chest of Don Jose. Yes, it still exists. Only now, there is no map, no clue. But I can tell you this. In the rocky surf, near the 2 islands which were once Sprague's Pit, if you will dare the curse of Don Jose, you can find his treasure chest.
Suspense, in which Raymond Burr starred in The Chest of Don Jose. Written, produced, and directed by William N. Robeson. Supporting Raymond Burr in The Treasure Chest of Don Jose were Joe DeSantis, Carl Swenson, Tommy Cook, and Charles Seal. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Among the great classics of radio drama, none is more memorable than Three Skeleton Key, although few who have heard it would remember it by that title. To them, it is simply that story about the rats. And that it is, an unforgettable experience in horror. We repeat it now because we can't help ourselves. We like to scare as well as you like to be scared. Listen then as Vincent Price stars in Three Skeleton Key, which begins in just a moment.
Let's talk about the news and about a friend of mine named Mrs. Johnston. At the moment, the big news in Mrs. Johnston's life is the birth of a granddaughter. Last night, she flew 1,000 miles to make the young lady's acquaintance. But Mrs. Johnston isn't completely self-centered. She knows that in the world around her, there's other news which affects her life and may touch her new granddaughter's life, too. Every day, Mrs. Johnston has depended on her local CBS radio station for her news of the world and the nation. Now that she's 1,000 miles from home, she can still depend as thoroughly and as completely on the CBS radio station in her new granddaughter's hometown. The CBS radio network sends to its affiliated stations the reporting of Edward R. Murrow, Alan Jackson, Lowell Thomas, Robert Trout, Douglas Edwards, and its other newsmen. Wherever they go across America, the Mrs. Johnstons and the Mr. Johnstons can get their favorite news programs because CBS Radio is a network.
And now, Three Skeleton Key, starring Vincent Price. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Try and picture this place. A gray tapering cylinder welded by iron rods and concrete to the key itself. A bare black rock 150 feet long, maybe 40 wide. That's at low tide. At high tide, just the light rising 110 feet straight up out of the ocean. And all about it, the churning water, gray-green, scum-dappled, warm as soup, and swarming with gigantic bat-like devilfish, great violet schools of Portuguese man-o'-war, and, yes, sharks, the big ones, 15-footers. And as if this wasn't enough, there was a hot, dank, rotten-smelling wind that came at us day and night off the jungle swamps of the mainland. A wind that smelled like death. Set in the base of the light is a watertight bronze door. And in you go, and up, round and round. Over the light storeroom is the food storeroom, and over the food storeroom is the bunk room where the three of us slept. And over the bunk room is the living and cooking room, and over the living and cooking room is the light. She was a beauty, balanced like a ballerina on the glistening steel axle of her rotary mechanism. My companions in the light were an odd and opposite pair. Big Louie, the head man who hardly ever talked, and Auguste, who never stopped. But it wasn't a bad life, especially at night when the others were snoring in their sacks 2 levels down. Usually there was nothing to see across the starlit water. Most ships knew better than to come close to Three Skeleton Key. But one night, gazing out across the phosphorescent combers, I noticed something show for a second in the revolving light. Something far off. A three-master. A big one. About half a mile off and coming down out of the north-northwest, coming straight for us. I went over to the gallery door and yelled, Louis! Louis!
What is it?
Ship headed for the reef.
Right up.
I had the glasses out now. I couldn't read her name, but I could see her quite plainly. All sails set, the foam creaming away under her bow, her beautiful lines, but why didn't she turn? Every time our light turned, it hit her with the glare of day.
The ship? Where?
Northwest. The light will touch her in a moment.
Can't they see?
Look at her. She just keeps coming on.
Oh, the squareheads. What is it? What is it?
Watch northwest, August.
Huh? Ah, I know what it is. The Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman. She is derelict. That's it.
Derelict?
Abandoned. Crew left her for some reason or other, but instead of sinking, she's gone on, running before every wind.
She'll not run long, not with these reefs to break her up.
Beautiful ship. Now, why would men leave a beautiful ship like that?
Impossible. Absolutely impossible.
What?
Here, take my glasses. They're stronger than yours.
All right. What is it you're... Breath froze in my throat. The decks were swarming with a dark brown carpet that looked like a gigantic fungus, but undulating, and on the masts and yards were hundreds, no, thousands, no, I don't know, an inestimable number of tremendous rats.
If it's new, Plymouth's got it.
Got it.
The 59 Plymouth's got it if it's new.
If it's new, if it's new.
The 59 Plymouth is at your Plymouth dealers now. It's new, it's wonderful, and it's here. New styling to make your heart sing. Plymouth for 59 has that fine car look. New Fury models at new lower prices. New swivel seats. Swing you in when you enter, swing you out when you leave. New push-button heater, world's simplest temperature control. New Golden Commando V8, biggest engine in the low-price field. New Miramatic mirror, new automatic headlight dimmer, new sport deck, new everything. See the completely new 59 Plymouth. Drive the completely new 59 Plymouth at your Plymouth dealers now.
And now, starring Vincent Price, Act 2 of Three Skeleton Key.
We stood there, the three of us, frozen in terror, peering through our binoculars, as the rat-covered ship gracefully, relentlessly bore down upon the quay, until at last, with a horrible certainty, splintering and grinding upon the rocks, she ran aground.
Look, the rats on the water, like a carpet.
They're swimming.
Oh, sure, they're swimming. Those are ship's rats.
But they're swimming for the rocks.
The door, below, it's open.
Come on!
And down we went, racing down the stone stairs, taking them 3 and 4 at a time. Scared? You bet we were scared.
Suppose you get the windows. Maybe they can climb. We don't know.
All right, Chief, but hurry, hurry.
You see them?
No. Yes, I do. We're up at the other end of the rock.
Look at them. Millions. And they smell us. Here they come. Close the door.
I can't. It's stuck.
Oh, here. Let me.
Oh, move, you.
Heave.
Made it.
Well, that was close.
One got in.
What?
Look, there.
Get him.
Watch it, he did.
Kick him. No. Brute.
He was as big as a tomcat, bigger, and his eyes were wild and red, his teeth long and sharp and yellow. He went for us, starving, ravenous, and we fought him, fought that one rat all over the room. It was, oh, believe me, I do not exaggerate, it was like fighting a panther. I got him. We ran up the winding staircase. We passed the tiny windows of the various levels, and every one was covered with a thick, wriggling, screaming curtain of brown fur. The air of the gallery was thick and fetid with the stink of them. The light was dim, brown, filtered through the crawling mass that swarmed over the glass, all about us. We could not see the sky, nothing but them. Their red eyes, their claws, their wriggling, hairy snouts, and their teeth.
What can we do? What can we do, Chief?
Take it easy, Auguste. Take it easy.
Oh, I just can't.
It won't do any good. It won't do any good to stand here and shake.
Go away. Go away. Do you hear me? Go away.
They won't go away. Not until the...
Oh, finish it, Chief. Not until what?
Not until they've been fed.
Here's actress Joan Bennett.
It's terrible to try to act with a dreadful cold. To feel better quickly, I take 4-way cold tablets, the fast way to relieve nasty cold distress.
Yes, tests of 4 leading cold tablets proved 4-way fastest acting of all. Amazing 4-way starts in minutes to relieve aches, pains, headache, reduce fever, calm upset stomach, also overcomes irregularity.
When you catch cold, try my way. Take 4-way cold tablets, the fast way to relieve cold distress.
4-way, 29 and 59 cents.
Here's a word about another fine product of Grove Laboratories. Do you know you can actually improve the appearance of your hair while you free yourself from itchy, unsightly dandruff? It's true. Fitch Dandruff Remover Shampoo contains no harsh ingredients whatever, yet it reaches right down to the scalp to get rid of every trace of embarrassing dandruff, guaranteed with just one lathering. And note this, Fitch Shampoo can also make your hair much brighter, as much as 35% brighter. So remember this about Fitch Shampoo. It positively removes dandruff, as it definitely acts to brighten hair. Use it regularly.
And now, starring Vincent Price, Act 3 of Free Skeleton Key.
All day long, we sat there in silent horror, watching the writhing mass trying to reach us through the glass, and then at last it began to get dark. One side of the room was lit a soft, filtered red. Sunset through the rats. Very pretty. I set the wicks, checked my fuel, and then lit the lamp. It caught them, lit them in their gigantic, wriggling web of pale, hairless bellies, twitching red tails, bright eyes. And then I started the rotary motor. The light drove them mad. As she swung slowly and smoothly about, she blinded them in the fierce, stabbing bar of light moving continually about, ever turning, ever touching, ever moving around and around, and they twitching and shuddering, eyes flaming when they were struck by the light, blinking and twinkling like the stars of hell. Make the most of any situation to endure it. And we found a way to entertain ourselves by teasing the rats. Sounds crazy, horrible? It was fun. We would get right up against the glass and make faces at them. It drove them crazy. They would scratch away trying to get at our eyes. Louis was even cuter about it. He'd pull a piece of bread out of his pocket and press it against the glass. The rats would scramble into a solid ball, biting each other, clustering like grapes. From time to time, a whole knot of them would slip and fall the 110 feet to the surf below.
Look! Look at the sharks.
They're eating them.
The sharks are our friends. Oh, here. I'll get another bunch together. Here, little beauties. Yeah, that's it. Pile up. Kill each other. There they go.
Auguste joined in, too. Very ingenious, Auguste. He learned that if he spread-eagled himself against the glass, they'd bunch and bundle against his figure. Then he'd leap back.
Look! My portrait in rat.
I went off watch about midnight, and I was just falling asleep when I became conscious of a new sound. I couldn't figure it at first. I got up, lit the lamp, and went to the window. Even as I looked at it, I saw one of the panes begin to sag in, They were eating the wood away. Louis, come quick. They found a way in. I held the glass with my hand. And now they were all going crazy, and assured of the success of this maneuver, they were nibbling away at the frame. Louis ran below and then returned with a large sheet of tin. We spread it against the window and hammered it into his face. Even as we did so, we felt the heavy bodies thudding against the other side as the window gave way.
Yeah, that ought to hold.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, we're done for.
Rats can't eat tin.
No. What was that?
I don't know.
Well, it came from below.
The storeroom window.
They're in. They're swarming up the stairs.
Drop the trap door.
Right.
Two of them got in.
Huh? Go after them.
We didn't have to go after them. They came at us. I leaped to one side and grabbed a marlin spike, swung and smashed one in midair. I whirled to see Louis with the other. It had ripped his hand open, and the blood was pouring all over the place. He held his hand aloft and kicked at the snarling trap. I stepped in, swung, and got it.
My hand. He got my hand.
That's both of them, Louis. I'll get you something to tie that up.
Bleeding. Look at it. It's my blood. I'm bleeding.
Don't worry about it, Louis. Now, look. I'll wind this kerchief about it. It'll be okay. There, now it's not bad, just the flesh. Then I became conscious of a new sound. They were gnawing their way through the wooden trapdoor. I watched the planks, fascinated, and even as I did, it began to give way. A bristling, whiskery snout showed through.
The gallery. The trapdoor in the gallery. It's steel.
Good. Come on. We made it. We lay across the trap, exhausted, while below us the rats took over the entire tower. I could hear them howling and fighting over our food supply, our water, our leather, and all about us the others screamed and glared in at us, swaying in a tangled mass, hypnotized by the ever-turning light.
New from Chrysler Corporation.
The cars that can do in 59 that can do what they look like they can do. They're the cars of the forward look. 59, they can do more than other cars can do. For you, drive the cars that can do. Drive the cars that can do.
Plymouth?
Can do.
Dodge?
Can do.
DeSoto?
Can do.
Chrysler?
Can do.
Imperial?
Can do. The cars that can do in 59 that can do what they look like they can do. They're the cars of the forward look. 59, they can do more than other cars can do. For you.
See the new Plymouth and the new Dodge at your dealers now. See the new DeSoto, Chrysler, and Imperial Friday, October 24th. The cars that can do.
For you.
And now, starring Vincent Price, Act 4 of Three Skeleton Key.
By morning, the air in the little room was horrible. Until now, we'd been getting air from the tower below. Now that was sealed off. And so was all our food and water. We lay exhausted, panting, waiting, and the hours crawled on. I was almost dozing from fatigue when I heard something that brought me to my feet.
Would you like to come in, my beauty? Would you? I hold the powers of life and death, and I can let you in, you know.
Auguste was standing by the glass, and in one hand he held a big wrench. He was tapping the glass gently, not quite hard enough to break it. I eased myself to my feet and slowly, very slowly, tiptoed toward him.
All I have to do is tap just a little harder, and
So there I was, a lunatic and a coward for company, and all about watching our little drama, the rats. following day we lay, thirst-tormented, starving, waiting. And the following night I again tended the light. But the small supply of spare wicking we kept in the gallery had become exhausted, and quite suddenly at about midnight, the light went out. There was nothing I could do. Wicks were stored 3 levels below. Nothing I could do, nothing. From time to time, I'd strike a match to see the clock. And when I did, it lit up the million red eyes about us. All about us, watching, waiting. Below it had grown quiet. They'd cleaned us out, and now they, too, were waiting. All waiting. And then the rats, quite suddenly, were silent. And then I heard it. And then I saw the sky and the stars. The rats were gone. I went to the glass. Out there on the water, a small freighter, a banana boat, came softly and innocently at us. The light was out. They didn't know. I wanted to open the windows, to call out to them, to warn them somehow, but I was afraid. What if the rats were hiding from me, tricking me? And so I waited. She grounded very softly on a reef not 200 yards from the quay. Grounded so gently that the man playing the cornet, was he a passenger, a crewman off watch, didn't even stop playing. They tried washing her back off. I could have told them to save their fuel. The tide was rising, would have floated her free. And I waited. That's all. That's the story. The sun came up and there wasn't a rat on the whole quay. Every last one of that terrible army had deserted us, gone back to sea on their new ship. August? Insane asylum, he never recovered. And Louis, they took him into Cayenne where he died of blood poisoning from his bite. Life on Three Skeleton Key isn't bad these days, but sometimes when I see a strange vessel approaching, I get a little nervous. Can you blame me? Somewhere on the seas, there's a little banana boat without a crew. That is, without a human crew.
Suspense, in which Vincent Price starred in William N. Robeson's production of Three Skeleton Key, written by George Tudus and adapted for Suspense by James Poe. In just a moment, the names of the supporting players and a word about next week's story of Suspense.
Of all leading filters, cigarettes, Kent filters best, Kent filters best. It makes good sense when you smoke Kent, Kent filters best. Of all of the brands of cigarettes, Kent tastes the best, Kent tastes the best. A richer taste than all the rest, Kent filters best. It makes good sense when you smoke Kent. Of all leading filters, cigarettes, Kent filters best.
Supporting Vincent Price in Three Skeleton Key were Ben Wright and Lawrence Dobkin. Sound patterns by Tom Hanley and Bill James. Listen. Listen again next week, when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
America listens most to the CBS Radio Network.
you're about to hear, the antagonist, the bad guy, happens to be the doctor. But let the AMA and the APA note, we do not wish to imply that all psychiatrists are heavies, nor that psychoanalysis is nonsense. Without psychotherapy, a lot of us would be dead, or worse, so sick that death itself would be a welcome surcease. So listen to Head Shrinker, starring Miss Nina Foch and Mr. Helmut Dantine, which begins in just a moment.
Come on and go in a Plymouth, a go-kart, through and through. You really go for a Plymouth, and Plymouth will really go for you.
15 minutes behind the wheel. That's all it takes to convince you that the 59 Plymouth really got it. Got the newest of new design, new sport car handling ease, new Fury performance, new get up and go. Just tell your Plymouth dealer you want to sample the go. Then you turn the key and Plymouth's new Golden Commando V8 leaps into life. Now you just push a button and go on your way to the most fun-filled 15 minutes of your driving life. See your Plymouth dealer. Take your fun drive in the 59 Plymouth real soon.
You really go for a Plymouth, and Plymouth will really go for you.
And now, Head Shrinker, starring Miss Nina Foch and Mr. Helmut Dantine. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The doctor will see you now, Mrs. Ellender.
Oh, thank you. I'm his last appointment.
As usual, Mrs. Ellender. I'll be leaving shortly myself. As usual.
Thank you. As usual.
Well, how are you this afternoon?
All right, I guess. The couch, or may I sit down?
The couch, I think. Your associations seem to flow more freely on the couch.
All right. You're the doctor. I said you're the doctor.
I heard you.
Well, that's supposed to be funny.
Is it?
Well, you laughed the first time I said it. The first day I came here.
I laughed to put you at your ease. I'd heard it before.
You've heard everything before, haven't you, Doctor?
Does it seem that way to you?
Everything but this.
What?
I'm going to kill you.
When?
Before this hour is over.
Why?
Well, look at your notes, Doctor. You've taken any notes while you've been scratching away behind me all these months? I don't know, maybe you've just been doodling. Maybe you're drawing pictures. Yeah, that's probably it. Dirty pictures. That must be quite a file you have on me. Ruth Ellender, manic depressive, compulsive obsessoid, check and double check neurotic. How long have I been turning myself inside out for you? How long have I been doing my psychic striptease for you? How many hours have I spent on this couch? How many?
You know as well as I.
Oh, no, I don't. Once I knew the time of day. Once I knew how many days it was until Christmas. I could tell when the rent was due, give or take a day or two. I could place myself in time very well. No longer. Now there is no time. Now there's nothing but 5 o'clock to 5:45 every afternoon, Monday through Friday. The other 23 hours and 15 minutes of the day, I don't know where they go. Saturday and Sunday. What do you suppose happens to me on Saturday and Sunday, dear, dear doctor?
This is a phase of the treatment.
Oh, yes, I know. Transference, it's called, to be followed by counter-transference, and when that's completed, I'll be a whole person. But hasn't that transference gone a little bit too far? I don't know any place where Freud suggests the weekend is a particularly effective time for transference. Nor quiet, out-of-the-way resource is a substitute for the doctor's office.
You shouldn't be reading Freud.
I know I should just take your word for it. If I went to the great man himself, I might find out what a swindler you are. What happened to those weekends, Werner? What happened to the Saturdays and Sundays of my transference? Am I now to expiate your sins in the agony of solitary countertransference?
Each patient requires his own kind of treatment.
And some other patient needs the weekends. Is she as pretty as I am? As intelligent? As sick?
If you are dissatisfied with the progress of your therapy, you are free to quit at any time.
Quit? Oh, no, Werner. I can't quit. You know I can't quit. I love you, Werner. Heaven help me. I love you.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense.
What bothers you most about a cold? For me, it's the choked-up, congested feeling. In fact, science now says to clear away most cold miseries, clear away congestion. Sinus congestion that causes headaches, nasal congestion that shuts off breathing, throat phlegm with its choking discomfort, bronchial irritation that starts coughing. Yes, to clear away those cold miseries, clear away that congestion. Now, there's a specialized new medicine to do that fast. 4-way liquid cough and cold medication. Taken as directed, with the first dose, feel sinus pressure and headache clear. Feel runny nose dry and open up. Breathe freely. Sore throat is soothed and cough eased. Yes, 4-way liquid clears away cold congestion and clears away worst cold miseries. Working through the bloodstream, it reaches all those congested areas. Because it's liquid, relief comes fast. So to clear away cold suffering, clear away congestion with new 4-way liquid cough and cold medication. Get it today, only 98 cents.
And now, starring Miss Nina Foch and Mr. Helmut Dantine, Act 2 of Head Shrinker.
Love. I said I loved you. What is love, Doctor?
What is it to you?
What is it to me? What is it to me? Always you answer a question with a question. There was a Greek who did that once.
Socrates?
That's right. You're a lot like him, Doctor, and you know what happened to him. And why.
Aren't you projecting?
Projecting? I gave up little boys when I stopped being a little girl.
You were speaking of love.
I was a little girl once. Seems strange, but I was. I was Daddy's little girl. I'd run down the walk to meet him in the late afternoon screaming, Daddy's home, Daddy, Daddy's home. He'd sweep me up in his arms and kiss me. His cheek would be all scratchy against mine. His mustache would tickle. And he smelled funny. But nice. Sweaty and sweet, bitter breath of a pipe smoker. The smell of a man. We had so much fun together. In evenings, I would curl myself up in his lap while he was reading the paper. He never minded a bit. And on Saturdays, when it was raining, I'd hang around his workbench in the garage while he was building something. Sawdust and wood shavings. Well, they're man smells, too, you know, Daddy. Daddy, 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 dear Daddy. Daddy, you know what I'd like to do next Saturday? I'd like to go to the beach with you. Will you take me, Daddy? Please take me. Will you? We'll go down early in the morning, we'll stay all day, and we'll have lots and lots of hot dogs, and... Oh, no, Daddy, just you and me. We don't want Mother along. Why did it stop? Why did it have to stop? Why can't I sit in your lap anymore, Daddy? Why? Why, Daddy? Why, Daddy? Why?
Here,
I can't
I will give you
sit
something to quiet you.
I don't want any of your shots. I don't need your fancy magic medicine with the unpronounceable name. I want my daddy. I want it to be like it was before.
Before?
I want it to be like before I was 11 or 12. Before he changed. He changed suddenly, all at once. He wouldn't let me curl up on his lap anymore. He'd push me and tell me I was a big girl now. He'd act embarrassed, as if he were almost ashamed of me.
Probably not ashamed, but certainly embarrassed. You were growing up.
I didn't want to grow up. I didn't ask to grow up. I wanted to be Daddy's little girl. That's all I ever wanted. Not all those boys in school. And later, I smelled like milk. Milk that was turning sour, not pipes and sawdust and sweat. My cheeks were scratchy. They were just boys.
Yet you married one of them.
Well, yes, I knew I'd marry him from the moment I met him at that party during the Christmas holidays. We started going around together once a week, then twice a week, and soon we were seeing each other every night. And then he would call me his princess. And he was my knight on a white horse. And we were married in church. I was a June bride. And Daddy gave me away. And then I was Mrs. George Ellender. I wasn't a princess anymore, and George wasn't a knight on a white horse. It wasn't like the fairy stories where they lived happily ever after. Those stories don't tell about the sinks full of dirty dishes. They make no mention of the sleep smell of the dawn embrace, or the painful tedium of getting to know someone after you're married to him. But we made it all right. We got through that first year. We played house. I called him Daddy, and he called me Mommy. He thought it was fun. Well, it was fun. But you changed all that. You awakened me. You taught me reality. You opened my eyes, you and your psychoanalysis. Why couldn't you have left me alone? Why didn't you let this sleeping bitch lie? Who do you think you are, God?
No, but perhaps you think I am.
Oh, no, not God. The devil, maybe, but not God.
Anthropomorphism, the last refuge of the ignorant and the immature.
Oh, come off those big words. They don't impress me anymore. Save them for your next victim.
Victim?
Yes, victim. Lawyers have clients. Storekeepers have customers. Doctors have patients, but you have victims. Why me, though? Why'd you pick on me? There were other women at that party where we met. Lots of them. Nice, juicy, neurotic ones. Why me?
You sought me out.
Oh, come now. Who lit the cigarettes? Who brought the drinks? Who danced attendance and who told me I was more disturbed than I realized?
The fantasies of rationalization.
The distinguished psychiatrist, the great healer, concerned with poor little me. The beard, like a messiah. The gentle voice, with just enough of Vienna in it. The compassionate eyes. I arrived at that party in the best of health. I left it a very sick woman who could be made well only by you. You convinced me that I was leading a meaningless life, that I was unhappy and maladjusted and immature. You assured me that I would only realize my fullest potential through psychoanalysis. You practically begged me. No. You seduced me into becoming your patient.
You came here of your own free will.
Oh, no, I came here of your will. And against my husband's.
It's only natural for a husband at first.
At first? George didn't have a chance. You saw to that. You tore him down piece by piece. until there was nothing left of him or our marriage.
Your decision to divorce your husband was arrived at by you after you realized the real reasons why you married him.
Oh, nuts. I loved you, Werner. You were a god. My God. Your pipe, your beard. You were...
Daddy?
What a contemptible thing to say. What an evil, dirty man you are.
You see why it has become impossible for you to continue as my patient?
Yes.
I told you when I became your lover that I could no longer be your doctor.
And you were right. And so that's the last time I will ever lie on that couch. From this moment on, I shall no longer be your patient, and you will no longer be my doctor.
A very mature decision.
Yes, because now I'm going to kill you.
In a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense.
Once upon a time, the man with the fastest horse was the best newsman. Those were the days when everything traveled slowly, and just getting the news through it all was an accomplishment. The fabulous progress in radio communications has changed all that. Today, we can hear what's happening anywhere within moments of the event itself. And with this change has come a new criterion for good news reporting. Swift communications aren't enough. How good is the man at the mic? What can he tell us of why the event took place? The meaning of the event in our own lives, its meaning elsewhere in the world. Those are the questions we want answered now. And those are the questions distinguished CBS newsmen are eminently qualified to answer. CBS newsmen are more than widely total news reporters. They are men with thoughtful, probing minds that are put at your service. Every news service has fast horses these days, but only CBS News has men like these reporting to you regularly, bringing you more than the facts, helping you to understanding.
And now, starring Miss Nina Foch and Mr. Helmut Dantine, Act 3 of Head Shrinker.
That gun is loaded.
Do you think I'm just acting out my aggressions? I'm not that sick, dear doctor. The gun is loaded.
You have considered the consequences?
All of them.
If you take my life, society will take yours.
They won't get the chance. There's another bullet in this gun. There's several.
I could ring for help.
Go ahead. You'll be dead when it gets here.
You are quite determined to kill me?
Quite.
Do you feel qualified to judge, condemn, and execute another human being?
As qualified as any other woman who's been rejected by the man she loved and found him not worth her loving. But I don't hate you as much as I loathe myself for having loved you. I see you now for what you are. A ridiculous little man. I wonder how you look without that beard. I wonder if you have any chin under it.
Don't you think this comedy has gone far enough?
It is a comedy, isn't it? And you're the comedian. The apostolic descendant of Sigmund Freud. From all our sins, dear Freud, deliver us. Thy will be done. Deliver us not into our it, and forgive our ego. For thine is the power and the superego forever and ever. And little bearded Werner is thy vicar on earth.
You are becoming hysterical. Now, put that gun away and get a hold of yourself.
I'm enjoying our little comedy. And my hour isn't over for 12 more minutes. It is my hour. I'm paying for it.
You're insane.
Insane is a legal term, not a psychiatric term. Remember, we learned that early on the couch. There is no such thing as insanity. Only varying degrees of adjustment to reality. There, see how well I learned my lesson? But there's so much more I don't know. For instance, Doctor, I've often wondered why you chose psychiatry as your specialty.
I've always been interested in the human mind.
Honestly?
Yes, how it works. Why people do the things they do. Our number one problem in this country is mental health.
Yes, I know, and you're dedicated to combat this scourge at $20 an hour.
That is not an exact...
It's quite a racket. All that money, plus the innermost secrets of some of the town's most prominent men and women.
The ethics of my profession...
Were you ethical with me?
Ruth, please try to understand me. You were not just a patient. You were so much more to me. You made me a man.
I know. So you told me. But you didn't tell me about the one before me. The one who tried to commit suicide after you refused to continue therapy. I've been doing a little checking. It's very interesting the things you hear around town when your name is mentioned. You know, Werner, you aren't very highly thought of in this community.
What do you
I'm
mean?
surprised no one has named you as co-respondent in a divorce case yet. How many of your patients stay married after you're through with them? What is it you have against marriage, Werner?
I can't be responsible for what a person does once he learns the truth about himself.
Of course you can't. A surgeon can be held responsible if he leaves a pair of pliers inside a patient after an operation. An obstetrician could be held responsible for a bungled delivery. But you can't be sued for a ruined life. It's a great out you have. The patient did it himself. Name me one patient you've made happy.
Psychoanalysis does not guarantee happiness.
Now you tell me.
It seeks to help the individual to adjust to reality. There is no such thing as happiness.
That's not what you said once.
There is only the absence of angst.
Translation, please.
Angst, anxiety, fear. A person can function normally only when he has rid himself of fear.
What are you afraid of, Werner?
Me? Why, nothing.
Then why do you hide behind that beard?
Why,
Aren't you afraid to look like other men, lest people realize that's all you are? Just another man.
No, of course not.
Why do you use your analyst couch as a lonely hearts club? Can't you meet women any other way? Are you afraid to compete with other men in the world of women?
Ruth, don't say things like that.
Why? Because they're true? Are you afraid of the truth, Werner? Of reality?
Ruth, you said you loved me once.
So I did. And you said you loved me. And I believed you. But now I know you didn't love me. You hated me. You hate all women. And you hate the happiness they can bring to a man. So you try to destroy love wherever you find it. You aren't an evil man, Werner. You're a sick man.
I know I am. But what can I do? I sit here all day long, listening to the deepest problems of others, but who can I turn to with my problems?
Forgive the bad joke, Werner, but what you need is to be psychoanalyzed.
I was, you know that.
Then you need a refresher course.
No, Ruth. I need you.
Me?
Yes.
Oh.
You. You know all about me. You understand me. I need your help, Ruth. Help me, Ruth.
No,
Please.
no, Werner, no.
You must help me, Ruth. Please help me.
You seem to forget that I came here to kill you.
But you didn't really mean it. You were acting out your aggressions through, but you wouldn't go that far.
Oh, yes, I would.
No, not when I need you so desperately.
You're really afraid, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, terrified. But not of dying.
Of living?
Yes, without you. I know now I can't go on living without you.
Then the biggest help I could be to you would be to kill you. But I couldn't do that now. It would be ungrateful of me.
Ungrateful?
Yes. You see, Doctor, you've cured me.
Of what?
Of you.
But I need you.
That, my dear Werner, is your problem. Well, I see my hour is nearly up.
You're not leaving me.
Yes,
But you can't. No, you can't.
Oh, yes, I can. You are no longer my doctor, my father, my lover, or my God. You're just a frightened little man.
Ruth. Please, Ruth. Ruth.
Oh, I might as well leave this gun with you. I have no further use for it. Good luck, Werner.
Suspense, in which Miss Nina Foch and Mr. Helmut Dantine starred in Head Shrinker, written, produced, and directed by William N. Robeson. The nurse was played by Florence Hawksworth. In just a moment, a word about next week's story of suspense. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with James and Pamela Mason in The Dealings of Mr. Markham. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
There are certain cities in the world that are story towns. San Francisco, New York, Paris, for example. They inspire writers whose stories about them in turn embellish their tradition. With all due respect, Des Moines, Iowa has yet to produce an Ambrose Bierce, or Buffalo, New York, an O. Henry. And without Paris, there certainly would never have been a Victor Hugo. But the greatest story town of them all is London. The very mention of its name conjures up a host of images. Fog and the clip-clop of a hansom cab in a midnight street, Scotland Yard, a lovely lady in durance vile, a villain with an Oxonian accent, a hero in white tie and tails, and murder. Of such elements is our story constructed, and one other. It concerns a man who, though murdered, refuses to remain dead. Listen then as Mr. and Mrs. James Mason star in The Dealings of Mr. Markham, which begins in just a moment.
If it's new, Plymouth's got it.
Got it.
The 59 Plymouth's got it if it's new.
It's new, it's new.
The 59 Plymouth is at your Plymouth dealers now. It's new, it's wonderful, and it's here. New styling to make your heart sing. Plymouth for 59 has that fine car look. New Fury models at new lower prices. New swivel seats. Swing you in when you enter. Swing you out when you leave. New push-button heater. World's simplest temperature control. New Golden Commando V8. Biggest engine in the low-price field. New Miramatic mirror. New automatic headlight dimmer. New sport deck. New everything. See the completely new 59 Plymouth. Drive the completely new 59 Plymouth at your Plymouth dealers now.
And now, The Dealings of Mr. Markham, starring James and Pamela Mason. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I make this deposition of my own free will, with the certain knowledge that Scotland Yard, without my assistance, could never have proven me a murderer, since the fact of the matter is, I was the murder victim. You must know that some years ago in Bond Street, not far from Piccadilly, was a quiet little shop which was identified only by a small and very discreet sign which bore the words, Charles Markham, dealer in antiques. In the shadowy interior, beyond the mullioned windows, was a confusion of treasures, mostly genuine, and always the rustled ticking of 100 clocks. Late one summer evening, when the shutters were long closed on those windows, a hansom cab turned into the foggy, gaslit street, and came to a halt in front of the shop.
That's all, Cabby. You needn't wait.
Very good, miss. Good night.
Good night. Must be here. He must be. I won't go back to that place. I'll kill myself first.
Look here, old man, you needn't... Oh. I beg your pardon.
And I beg yours. I'm not the person you were expecting, am I?
No, madam. As a matter of fact, I was expecting a police officer.
A police officer?
Merely an old friend who drops in now and then for some talk and a drink.
You are Mr. Markham.
Yes. My name is Markham. What can I do for you?
I want to come in. I want to buy a present for somebody.
Really, madam? It's nearly midnight. Surely tomorrow morning.
Oh, that'll be too late. This is a special occasion. It's a birthday present, you see. A birthday present. I've got to deliver it at breakfast. And Sir George Littell says this is the only place in London to buy antiques.
Sir George flatters me. One moment while I put some lights on.
No, please. That one little light will be enough.
But you won't be able to see very much.
Oh, that doesn't matter. I'll trust your judgment.
Just as you like. This way, madam.
What's that? That noise?
You mean the clocks, madam? There are more than 100 clocks in this room.
Don't they get on your nerves? Ticking away together like a nightmare?
No, I'm very fond of them. Might I interest you, perhaps, in a clock?
No, I hate them.
All the same, this grandfather clock might amuse you.
I didn't come here to be amused.
Nevertheless, observe the signature. Johannes Carver, Londini, Fecit, Anno Domini, 1752. You'd see better, madam, if you raised that veil.
I'll keep my veil down, thanks.
Just as you please. But look at the clock. I open the glass face like this. I push the hand forward like this, and...
11 and all's well. 11 and all's well.
What was that voice?
Only the clock, madam. Nothing more.
The clock spoke.
Clever, isn't it? A device of old John Carver, anticipating Mr. Edison's gramophone by more than a century. But then you said you didn't like clocks.
Not by the hundreds.
Well, then, it's a business. May I ask whether the present you're seeking is for a lady or a gentleman?
It's for a gentleman.
Has he some knowledge of antiques?
No. Yes. I mean...
perhaps porcelain, bronzes, tapestry, weapons?
I might be very much interested in weapons, yes.
Then I imagine his name is Mr. Ronald Gilbert. Will you tell me, Miss Ray, why you really came here tonight?
So you know who I am?
Naturally. You're Miss Judith Ray. Why did you come here?
I wanted to see what sort of a man you actually were.
And you found out?
No. But I won't go back to prison. I won't.
That's entirely up to you. But since this is a business conference, Miss Ray, and I imagine it is...
Yes.
Then suppose we go into my office here at the back of the shop. After you.
Thank you.
You must excuse the dust covers I've put on the chairs here. I'm leaving for a holiday tomorrow and the shop will be closed. When I return next week, Miss Ray, I shall expect the amount requested. In cash, of course.
But I can't raise £2,000. You ought to know that.
Your fiancé could raise the money, I imagine.
Ron? Do you think I'd have Ron know where I've been? And what I've been?
It's better than having his father learn it, surely. Sit down, Miss Ray.
I'd rather stand, thank you.
That's a very foolish gesture, but ladies will do it. They think it gives them dignity and shows their disdain of the poor blackmailer. You see, I make no bones about it. I am a blackmailer.
You seem rather proud of yourself.
Why not? I'm the one person in England, perhaps in the whole world, who's made it a large-scale business.
Congratulations.
What is all life but blackmail? The little girl says... If you don't give me that, I'll scream. The grown woman says, if you go on behaving like this, I'll leave you. Your sex, Miss Ray, are blackmailers from the cradle.
I wonder, Charles Markham, if anybody has ever hurt you very much.
Hurt me? What do you mean?
When you talk like that, your face goes white under the eyes. You pick up that letter opener from the desk...
Not a letter opener, please, Miss Ray. A Medici dagger. 16th century work.
It isn't the money that really interests you, is it?
I don't understand.
You hate the world. You just want to torture people as you think you've been tortured. Isn't that so?
This is a very sharp dagger, Miss Ray. If I throw it down on the desk, it sticks. Like that.
Isn't it so, Charles Markham?
My motives, Miss Ray, are not in question.
I wonder.
Whereas your motives are. Now, let me see. 10 years ago, a certain girl called Letty Wilson, your real name, I believe, fell in love with a rather contemptible underworld character named Arthur Akers.
Please.
No humiliation was too great for her. She worked for him, lied for him, stole for him.
I was only 18. I didn't know what I was doing.
This girl, for a very shabby theft, was sentenced to 3 years hard labor in Holloway Prison. 5 months later, she escapes from prison and disappears. And now, after all these years, she pops up in the West End as Miss Judith Ray, fashionable milliner.
Haven't I made up for it? Haven't I?
No.
For one mistake after 10 years?
That's the way of the world, my dear. I didn't create it. And I'm forgetting the best part of the comedy. This paragon of virtue next falls in love with Mr. Ronald Gilbert, son of Major General Sir Edmund Gilbert. Such a respectable family, too.
Oh, stop it, please.
Then shall we say £2,000?
Suppose I did raise the money. I don't know how, but suppose I did raise it.
Well?
What guarantees would I have that you wouldn't ask for still more money?
I probably shall ask for more money, Miss Ray. That's my privilege as a blackmailer.
And am I never going to be free of you? Is that it?
Frankly, that's it.
Unless I kill you, of course. What if I did kill you?
People have threatened that before, but they haven't meant it.
Maybe I mean it.
Well, we can easily test you out. There's a sharp knife stuck in the desk in front of you. I'm going to get up and deliberately turn my back on you. Like this.
Be careful, Charles Markham.
As a student of human nature, I'm curious. How much will you risk to keep this secret? Have you the courage to kill and risk hanging?
Yes, I think I have. Oh, what was that?
Aren't you glad you held back at the last moment, Miss Ray?
I said, what was that?
That, my dear, was the front doorbell. Probably my friend Inspector Ross from Wigmore Street Police Station. Come in, old man. Make yourself comfortable. I'll be with you in a moment.
You wanted me to try and kill you, didn't you?
No, I was merely curious. And in any case, Miss Ray, it would have been useless to kill me.
Useless? Why?
Because I shouldn't die.
Oh, don't talk rot.
No, it's quite true. A man in my position must take certain precautions. If you killed me, I should be back to haunt you within half an hour. And I don't happen to be joking. Come in.
Here's actress Joan Bennett.
It's terrible to try to act with a dreadful cold. To feel better quickly, I take 4-way cold tablets. The fast way to relieve nasty cold distress.
Yes, tests of 4 leading cold tablets proved 4-way fastest acting of all. Amazing 4-way starts in minutes to relieve aches, pains, headache, reduce fever, calm upset stomach, also overcomes irregularity.
When you catch cold, try my way. Take 4-way cold tablets. The fast way to relieve cold distress.
4-way, 29 and 59 cents.
Here's a word about another fine product of Grove Laboratories. Do you know you can actually improve the appearance of your hair while you free yourself from itchy, unsightly dandruff? It's true. Fitch Dandruff Remover Shampoo contains no harsh ingredients whatever, yet it reaches right down to the scalp to get rid of every trace of embarrassing dandruff. Guaranteed with just one lathering. And note this, Fitch Shampoo can also make your hair much brighter, as much as 35% brighter. So remember this about Fitch Shampoo. It positively removes dandruff, as it definitely acts to brighten hair. Use it regularly.
And now, starring James and Pamela Mason, Act 2 of The Dealings of Mr. Markham.
Look here, Markham, Good Lord, Judith. Mr. Ronald Gilbert, what a nice surprise.
Ron, what are you doing here? He hasn't got anything on you, has he?
Speak up, Mr. Gilbert. Have I?
Well, the fact is, Judith, I...
Look at him, Miss Ray. See how he changes color and twists his moustache and altogether resembles a boy caught at the jam cupboard? The perfect picture of a gentleman being a gentleman.
Well, now, look here, Markham. I'm not very clever. You can always make a fool of me when you start talking, so... let's stop talking, huh? I brought the money.
What money?
My fee for keeping quiet about you.
So you went to Ron, too. You told him about it.
Naturally, in my business, it's good business to sell your wares in 2 markets, if you possibly can.
How much money?
Well, never mind, Judith. I hoped I could do this without your knowing.
How much money?
3,000. That's all I could raise.
Has he told you who I am and what I've been?
Now, look here, Judith. Who the devil cares who you are or what you've been? I happen to be in love with you, and Well, never mind. Let's get out of here.
Ron, it's no good. He'll only come back for more money.
Well, I know that, but what else can we do?
Nothing, I'm afraid. May I have that envelope with the money, please?
Here you are. Take it.
Thank you. As I explained to Miss Ray, I'm leaving tomorrow for a holiday. I'm glad we could settle this affair before my departure, and as you say, like gentlemen.
I don't suppose you can help being what you are, Markham, but never again, as long as you live.
Yes?
Never even say that word, gentlemen.
Be careful, Ron. Look at his face.
Tell me, Mr. Gilbert, how much money is in this envelope?
I told you 3,000 pounds.
Then take it back. I find we can't make a deal after all.
What do you mean?
Just what I say. Here's your money. You will now oblige me, both you and Miss Ray, by leaving my shop.
But I don't understand. What are you going to do?
Tomorrow morning, perhaps even tonight, I'm going to get in touch with the police. I shall tell them where they can find Letty Wilson, alias Judith Ray.
You can't do that, Markham.
Oh, yes, he can. You've hit him where it hurts.
3,000 pounds or 30 cannot buy you the right to insult me. I'll show you to the door.
You're not going to tell the police, Markham. I promise you that.
And how are you going to stop me?
With this?
Ron, put that gun away.
So both of you, it appears, came here under false pretenses. You said you wanted to pay me some money.
Oh, the money's still there, but you've lost your chance to get it.
And our dear Judith said she wanted to buy a present for you. I showed her this grandfather clock here. This talking...
Don't go a step beyond that clock, Markham, I warn you.
Nonsense, old man. You wouldn't dare shoot.
Wouldn't I?
No, and I'll call your bluff.
Ron.
I know your whole silly tribe, my friend. You wouldn't risk it. Your life, your family position, you wouldn't.
12 o'clock, midnight, and all's well. 12 o'clock, midnight, and all.
Who's ahead? Why is the favorite son trailing his opponent in one area while a dark horse candidate surges far ahead in another? What are the issues that concern Americans most? What kind of legislation can we expect in Congress during the 2 years ahead? What impact will the new arrangement in Congress have on the White House, on the State Department? How will Tuesday's voting influence convention delegates when they meet to nominate a presidential ticket 2 years hence? These are the questions that make this election so exciting. These are the questions our team of CBS newsmen will keep in mind Tuesday night as we bring you the whole election story. Find out what's happening at the polls from CBS newsman Robert Trout. Find out why it's happening from CBS News chief Washington correspondent Eric Severide. Follow the election predictions made by Univac, the famous electronic brain, as they're reported by Douglas Edwards of CBS News. Tuesday night on CBS Radio.
And now, starring James and Pamela Mason, Act 3 of The Dealings of Mr. Markham.
Oh, Ron, what have you done?
Steady, my dear. We'll find a way out of this.
Maybe he's not dead, Ron.
Oh, he's dead, all right. It shot through the heart. The bullet went clean through him and smashed the face of the grandfather clock.
What are we going to do?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. There may be a way out.
What way?
He said he was going for a holiday. That means his absence won't be noticed. The shop will be closed. Nobody will come here for days, and certainly nobody will come here tonight. Oh!
What's that?
The police officer. I forgot the police officer.
What police officer?
A friend of Markham's, Inspector somebody from Wigmore Street. He was expecting him.
Well, then we're finished.
Could you pick up the body and carry it?
Yes, I suppose I could. Why?
Well, there must be a back way out of this shop, probably through the office.
Yes, all right. I don't like to touch him.
Oh, hurry, Ron. Hurry.
He's as heavy as a sack of meal, and he seems to be looking straight at me.
No. Did you see the expression in his eyes just before he...
No, I didn't.
He seemed to be looking behind us or beyond us. I don't know how to describe it. He said something, too, that scared me. He said he couldn't die. He said...
Now, will you close the door quickly?
The back door? Where? Oh, there it is. Oh, locked. It's locked.
Isn't there a key?
No.
Perhaps in his pockets on a keyring.
Oh, there isn't time, Ron. The police, they'll break down the front door.
I got it. The dust covers on the chairs.
What on earth are you talking about?
We used to play a game when we were children. Somebody sits in a big chair, you fit the dust cover over him, and nobody can tell he's sitting there. Don't you see, Judith? That's how we can hide Markham's body.
Well, it might work.
It's got to work. Take the cover off that big wing chair.
All right.
Meanwhile, let's get into it. Now put the cover back again and pull it down around his feet.
Well, don't let it touch his chest. The blood will show through.
That's got it. You can't see anything now, can you? Just in time. Come in.
Good evening, Miss Ray. Good evening, Mr. Gilbert.
Charles Markham. You're Charles Markham.
Correct, Miss Ray. But why should that surprise you? Why do you look as though you were seeing a ghost?
Because we are seeing a ghost. If you're Charles Markham, whose body...
Judith, be careful.
Body, Miss Ray? Did you say body?
Miss Ray is upset she doesn't know what she's talking about.
If you killed me, I should be back to haunt you within half an hour. That's what you said.
No, I tell you, Miss Ray isn't herself. I had bad news today. A relative of hers died, and I've been trying to console her.
Did you think it would console her to bring her to my shop?
Well,
You must agree the situation's a little odd. I come in here and find you two looking as guilty as a pair of murderers in my private office in the middle of the night.
Well, there's nothing odd about it. I wanted to buy Judith something.
At midnight?
Yes, why not?
May I ask how you managed to get in?
Oh, the front door was open. We just...
If you wish to buy something, why not stay in the showroom? Why come to my office?
Well, hang it all, you don't think we wanted to steal anything?
Well, the thought did occur to me. You say there was nobody else here?
Well, there's nobody here, Mr. Markham. Not a living soul.
Then you didn't by any chance meet my brother?
Your brother?
Yes, my brother Robert. You couldn't have mistaken him if you had seen him. He looks so much like me that few people can tell us apart.
Oh, then that's it.
Poor Robert often deputizes for me. He's learned to act like me, think like me, talk like me, but he doesn't like the work much. Of course, you know what my work really is.
If it's part of the game, are you playing cat and mouse with us?
Robert is an idealist. He thinks, poor fellow, that my profession is beneath contempt. But he acts the part, acts it very well, because I pay him. And I find it useful to have a double who'll run risks for me. What have you done with the body?
We haven't done anything with him.
If you've killed Robert, my friend, you've committed a totally useless murder.
Well, you don't see him here, do you?
No. But I see his handiwork.
Meaning what?
I've warned him many times about throwing a knife down on a polished desktop. Those scratches on the desk are fresh scratches. Of course, if you give me your word of honor that he's not here...
Well, of course he's not here.
In that case, all we can do is sit down and make ourselves comfortable. You sit over there, Mr. Gilbert, and you, Miss Ray, how about that wing chair by the window?
I prefer to stand, thank you.
Then perhaps you don't mind if I sit in the wing chair. It's a very comfortable one. My brother always
Don't sit there.
So that's it.
Yes, that's it.
It is rather a thick chair. I press against the dust cover.
What's the use of going on with this? I killed him.
You admit that?
Yes, I admit it. But Judith had nothing to do with this. I swear she hadn't.
My telephone, you notice, is against the wall. I shall have to turn my back to you when I ring.
Ring? Where?
Wigmore Street Police Station.
Give him a chance. Please give him a chance.
Hello?
Waiter, I want Regent 0586.
I won't let them take you, Ron. I won't.
No good, Judith. I killed a man. I meant to kill him, and that's all there is to it.
Very sensible attitude, my friend. And if the lady has any idea of flying at me with that knife, just notice what I've got here. A .32 revolver, one chamber fired. Picked up off the floor in that other room. Oh, hello. Wigmore Street Police Station.
For the last time, Mr. Markham, won't you give him a chance?
Be quiet, Miss Ray. May I speak to Inspector Ross, please? Hello, Inspector. Charles Markham here. I understood you were going to drop in and see me tonight. Oh, I see. Well, naturally, business before pleasure. As a matter of fact, I rang up to make sure that you wouldn't come here tonight. Now, I've got a lot of work to do. I'm leaving for Eastbourne early tomorrow morning. Let's make it some other time, shall we? No, Inspector. It's very quiet hereabouts. Quiet as the grave, you might say. Never known such a peaceful night. Goodbye.
Why would you do that? Is this some more trickery?
Trickery? How can it be?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
I should call it generous when I let my poor brother's death go unavenged.
You're not doing this without a reason.
Naturally not. Has it occurred to you, either of you, that I might not want my business dealings revealed in court? What are you driving at? Has it also occurred to you that a man's double, who looks exactly like him and shares all his secrets, may become a danger rather than an asset?
You're glad he's dead.
Not glad, but definitely relieved.
Now, look here. You can't get away with this.
Get away with it, sir? Aren't you forgetting that you are the murderer?
Well, then what are you going to do?
It's very simple. We three, in an unholy partnership, will dispose of Robert's body. Or would you rather hang?
He's got us, Ron. There's no other way.
How can we dispose of the body? It seems worse than killing him. It's filthy cold.
Come, Mr. Gilbert. This is no time for squeamishness. You should be grateful to me for assisting you in the disposal of the evidence of your crime. Shall we get at it? And so, before the night was over, the body of my brother Charles was consigned to the ebbing tide of the Thames, never to be seen again. That's right, my brother Charles. Robert Markham did not die that night. I am Robert. I killed Charles. There were 2 shots that night. Gilbert fired and missed, and at the same moment I fired from the door of the office and did not miss. That was why my brother looked past those 2. He was looking into the barrel of my gun. I killed him to stop forever the wholesale blackmail that was poisoning the lives and breaking the hearts of 100 hopelessly frightened people. I destroyed his records, burned his correspondence, and assumed his identity, proud that I'd been of anonymous service to his many victims. Had I been my brother's twin in spirit as well as in body, that would have been the end of the matter. But Charles and I differed in this respect. He had no conscience. I could not forget that young Ronald Gilbert would live his life and go to his grave believing that he was a murderer. I brooded upon this for a long, long time, and at last have decided to make this confession, releasing him from his burden and assuming what is rightfully mine, the sin of fratricide. Further, deponent saith not.
Suspense, in which James and Pamela Mason starred in William N. Robeson's production of The Dealings of Mr. Markham, written by John Dixon Carr. In just a moment, the names of the supporting players and a word about next week's story of suspense.
Of all leading filters, cigarettes, Kent filters best, Kent filters best. It makes good sense when you smoke Kent, Kent filters best. Of all of the brands of cigarettes, Kent tastes the best, Kent tastes the best. A richer taste than all the rest, Kent filters best. It makes good sense.
cigarette. 10 pills to that.
Supporting James and Pamela Mason in the dealings of Mr. Markham were Ben Wright and Dawes Butler. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with William Conrad and Charles McGraw in Two for the Road. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Get the news first on the CBS Radio Network.
Suspense. As the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robson.
Some years ago, Ernest Hemingway's great short story, The Killers, was made into a movie. Anyone who saw it will never forget the menace and brutality of the two gunmen in the opening sequence. Two nastier heavies have rarely been seen together on the screen. Feeling that their type of tough guy should not be allowed to languish in limbo, we have brought them together again in a rather different kind of story, yet still a story of heavies. Listen then, as William Conrad and Charles McGraw star in Two for the Road.
Where are we now, Joe?
You been asleep?
Yeah. Where are we now?
I don't know for sure. Someplace in Arkansas, I think.
Sure is a big country, ain't it?
Yeah.
Hey, you want me to drive?
No, I'm all right. You get some more sleep.
I got enough. Sure you're all right?
Maybe a little groggy. We'll stop at the next place for coffee, and you can take it from there.
Okay. Hey, what time is it?
Must be past midnight.
You know, I keep wondering.
Yeah, wondering what?
If we're doing the right thing, cutting out like this.
What else could we do? New York is dead. Chicago? In New York.
Think the coast will be any better?
It's gotta be. There's plenty of action on the coast.
I hope you're right. But all we got lined up is that job for Rocky. What about after?
Well, we do the job good for Rocky, he'll take care of it.
When we get there, you think?
Well, we come nearly halfway in 24 hours. If we go right through, we ought to make it by tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's such a big country. If Rocky wasn't in such a hurry with that job, we could see some of it.
Nothing between New York and the coast but scenery.
Oh, there's Vegas.
Yeah, but that's practically the coast.
Yeah.
You've seen one superhighway, you've seen them all.
Yeah, cities, too. I was in Boston once for a tryout. Nothing.
Crockhaven. Huh? Joint up ahead there. Let's stop for coffee. Huh?
Yeah, okay. You know what they say, if the truck drivers stop at a joint, the food's got to be good.
Well, I don't see any trucks. And all I want is coffee.
I can't go wrong with coffee.
This place might as well close up for the night. No cars parked outside. No customers inside.
Yeah, there's one. Look at that doll at the counter.
Yeah, not bad. What she's doing out here all alone in the middle of the night?
Waiting for a bus, maybe.
Evening.
Hi. 2 coffees. Make mine black.
Yeah, same here.
2 coffees.
Hey, Mac, what's the matter with your TV? It's about the lousiest picture I ever saw.
Best we can do. We ain't close enough to Little Rock. We're too far from Memphis.
Must drive you nuts all fuzzy like that.
You get used to it.
45111, and one of our friendly operators will take your order. If you're outside the dining area,
Hi. Hello.
Hey, ain't I seen you fellas before?
I don't know how. We ain't never been here before.
Neither have I. I'm from Memphis.
We went through Memphis this evening.
Funny. I'm sure I've seen you someplace.
No, in New York, maybe.
I've never been east of Chattanooga.
We never been west of Weehawken.
Well, excuse me for butting there.
Not at all.
I got it.
Not at all.
Hey, Joe. Not bad, not bad.
better use of directness. Tough. We're just running a nice clean operation.
Dad, you I've seen you
Don't
before.
remember how to make cement.
Where?
Right there on the TV.
What? I can't tell through all that snow.
Hey, Charlie, look. How about that? It's an old Kenny in the plain clothes.
Well, that is you, ain't it? You're hot like you.
Yeah, but do you mind reaching up and turning it off? It stinks even when you can see the picture.
You're actors.
Yeah?
I always watch the program.
Ah, glad to know we got an audience in Arkansas.
What's the fellas doing way out here?
Driving to the coast.
Hollywood?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you want a lift?
Sure.
What?
Why not?
Well, we're driving right through. It wouldn't be very comfortable.
Oh, I don't mind. I won't take up hardly any room at all, and I don't have any luggage, just as good.
Well, I don't know.
I got a little money. I'll pay for my share of the gas.
Well, it ain't that. It's...
Oh, come on, Joe. Let's give the kid a lift, huh?
Haven't you heard about picking up strangers on the highway?
You don't mean you're afraid of me.
Oh, no, but you gotta admit it's a little kook finding a girl out in the middle of nowhere without any baggage wanting to go to the coast.
All right, it's like this. I'm running away from home.
Why don't you run back? We don't want your husband gunning for us.
Oh, no. I'm running away from my old man and my old lady. Tonight we had a big beef and I walked out. Got a ride out of Memphis as far as here.
What's so funny?
You worry about giving me a ride. I'm the one that's got to worry. This fellow that gave me a lift out of Memphis wanted me to pay for the ride. The price is too high. Why, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere.
Oh.
What a dirty, no good...
But you guys don't look like that, Ty.
Oh, not.
So I trust you and I'll accept the invitation.
Well, okay. You finished your coffee, Lothario?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right, let's hit the road then.
I can't get over it.
What?
Me on my way to Hollywood with two famous actors.
Oh, we're not so famous.
Not famous. Why, I bet the Plainclothesman is the most popular TV show in Memphis. Everybody knows Joe Harris and Charlie Bloom. You're Charlie, aren't you?
That's right.
And you're Joe.
Yeah.
How come you're going to Hollywood?
They killed us. We're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what Joe means is we got too big for the plainclothesman, see? And the star of the show, Hubert Bromley.
Oh, I can't stand him.
Yeah, well, anyway, he's the star, and he didn't like how big Joe and I was getting, so he had the writers get us killed in last week's episode.
Well, that was mean of him.
That's showbiz.
And being as how we was typecast as hoods, we couldn't get any good parts in New York. Actually, Joe and I are pretty serious actors.
Oh, I know you are.
Yeah, we just look like hoods.
That's what I liked about you in the Plainclothesman.
Yeah. Well, we got this pal in Hollywood, Rocky Lamont. He used to hang around Walgreens, but he's a director now, and he's got a couple of swell parts for us in a pilot he shoots. The Three Musketeers.
Well, I thought that was a kid's show.
Musketeers, not mouseketeers.
Oh.
That's why we're in such a hurry. Rocky starts shooting day after tomorrow.
Say, honey.
Yeah, Joe?
You got any idea where we are?
Ought to be too far from Little Rock.
Hey, Joe. Joe, look, must be a wreck up ahead. All those flashing red lights.
Police cars.
It's a roadblock. They're signaling us to stop.
What do you suppose they want?
Who knows?
Don't stop, Joe.
What do you want me to do? Barrel right through 'em?
Yeah.
You crazy or something? That shoot is full of holes.
We'll shoot back.
With what?
With this.
Hey, Joe. Look, she's got a rod.
What? You nuts? You put that out of sight.
Help!
What's the matter with her?
Well, don't ask me. She was your idea.
Throw her out.
Thank heaven you stopped us, officer. These two men are kidnapping me. They
Okay,
forced me
you
into the
two
car.
out.
Hey, now listen, officer. This broad split.
Yeah, we just met her up the road. Ow!
Pull your hands up. All right. Now, look, Sergeant, I'm sure we can explain everything.
You better.
Now, you, young lady.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah? The gal ain't here. The door on the other side's open. She must have got out that way.
There she is. She's on chair 6. Hey, stop! Stop! I'll shoot!
Look out. She's got a gun.
Look! Hang on there,
My, how chivalry has fallen in Arkansas. Shooting at women. It'll be children next.
All right, mister. It's my duty to tell you that anything you say may be used against you. Frisk 'em, Sam.
Right?
Where you from?
New York.
Where you going?
Hollywood.
Yeah, Sergeant, we're just driving through.
Their boat's clean. Check them against those descriptions. You in Memphis tonight?
Yeah.
Doing what?
Just driving through.
Let's see your driver's license.
Okay. Yeah. It's gone. My wallet's gone.
So's mine, Joe.
That broad, she's a pickpocket.
Yeah, she stole my wallet. You got to arrest her.
Oh, don't you worry. We'll arrest her as soon as we can catch her.
Description fit, Riggs.
So's the car. Blue and white convertible. New York license plate. Check their registration. What's your name?
Joe Harris.
Now, what's yours?
Charlie Bloom.
Whose car is it?
Mine.
The car's registered to Yusuf Horowitz.
Now, come again. What's your name?
Joe Harris.
And that's your car.
That's right.
And how come it's registered to Yusuf Horowitz?
You see, Joe Harris is short for Yusuf Horowitz.
Why'd you steal the car?
Look, I didn't steal the car. It's mine. All of it's paid up. That's my name, Yusuf Horowitz. Joe Harris is my stage name.
That's right, officer. Hey, listen, you don't believe that crazy broad, do you? You don't think we kidnapped her?
No, not for a minute. I think she was in this here thing with you from the beginning. I think she drove the getaway car.
Get away from what?
The hold-up of the Cotton State National Bank in Memphis this afternoon.
What?
Snap the cuffs on, Frank.
Yes. Now, look here. You're making a terrible mistake.
You haven't got any charges.
Oh, yes, we have. Armed robbery and murder. That bank teller you shot died an hour ago.
Hey, donkey! Hey!
Get off down there.
I gotta talk to you.
I said knock it off.
You got no right to rap him across the knuckles.
I got any right I want to take.
Now, listen. Where's the sheriff? I told you I want to talk to the sheriff.
I know you did.
What did you tell him?
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
Now, you can't keep us in jail like this.
You're in, ain't you?
Where's the sheriff?
I wouldn't know.
Now, look, listen, we got to get out of here. We got an appointment in Hollywood.
You better cancel it. All right, James. You can bring in the prisoners. Yes, sir. This way.
Sit down, boys. I hear you want to talk to me.
You're darn right we do, Sheriff.
Well, good. Because I want to talk to you.
What about?
Can't you guess?
That cop last night said something about a bank robbery in Memphis, but we don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, we're just a couple of actors.
Well, it looks like you're a couple of bad actors.
Look, you can check it. I'm Joe Harris.
Yeah, that's Charlie Bloom.
We've been playing the heavies in a TV series of plainclothesmen.
Yeah, we were on last night on Channel 2.
Well, I don't look at TV very much, but I look at descriptions of wanted men, and you fit the description of the men who robbed that bank in Memphis yesterday.
Well, that was just a coincidence.
Well, is it a coincidence that the girl who was with you last night when you were arrested fit the description of the girl who drove the getaway car at the bank holdup?
Yeah, that's a coincidence, too.
I want to talk to an attorney.
You can.
Now, we got to write the counsel. You can't hold us
I
like...
can, and I am. Incommunicado for 72 hours, and that's the law.
Oh, listen, Sheriff, be reasonable. We got an important date on the coast. We're late as it is.
And you're going to be much later.
You can't prove that we robbed that bank.
Can you prove you didn't?
Sure, ask anybody who saw the plainclothesman last night.
Yeah, ask that girl. She saw us on TV last
I'd
night.
like to ask her a lot of things. Like, what about the kidnapper?
Sheriff, there wasn't no kidnapping. She asked us for a lift, and we gave it to her.
Well, until I question her, we'll just forget the kidnapping charge, huh?
Thanks a lot.
But you can make it easier on yourself if you cooperate with us about that bank robbery.
You must be kidding.
I don't kid. Now, let's have the story.
Look, I told you we're actors.
Yes, oh, yes. Well, then act.
What?
I'll get plenty of time. You say you acted. Well, go on, act.
Will you believe us if we prove that we're actors?
Well, I'm not making any promises. The burden of proof lies with you.
Hey, Joe, let me. I'll prove it to him. Remember that closing speech in the plainclothesman that got me the Emmy? All right, you listen to me, copper. You put the roust on me for the last time. I hate cops. I was born hating cops.
Joe.
And cops ain't done nothing all my life to make me like them. I've always promised myself that someday I'd still be a cop, and today's the day.
Will you shut up?
Let him go on. I believe him. Well, I believe every word he said. Oh, go on, boy. What are you going to do after you kill your cop?
That's all. That's the end of the speech.
So you hate cops, huh? Well, that makes us even because I hate punks.
Hey, now, wait a minute. He didn't mean that. He was acting.
He convinced me.
That he's an actor?
No, that he's a bank robber.
All right, listen. Now, if you don't understand Charlie's acting, you listen to this. It's a different kind of acting. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in fiction and a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit, and all for nothing? For Hecuba, what's Hecuba to him, or him to Hecuba that he should weep for her?
Well, now, who's this Hecuba? Of course. Hecuba's that broad that swiped that motorcycle.
Well, that was from Hamlet, Act 2, Scene 2. That was acting.
Oh, that was acting. All right, now, are you ready to talk about that bank job?
Look, once more, real slow, we don't know nothing about no bank job.
Well, like I said, we got plenty of time while we're waiting for you to make confession on that bank robbery. Maybe we can find some other charges against you.
Oh, but this is crazy. What charges?
Well, I don't know yet. I'll know better after the lineup.
Lineup?
Yeah, a couple of acting fellas like you claim to be. Oh, my, you ought to enjoy the lineup. I'll put you up there on the stage with the footlights on you, and I'll give you an audience.
Look, you don't have to do that. That girl, she knows who we are. Ask her.
Well, I can't not know we pick her up. But it'd be nice to have her in the lineup, too, now, wouldn't it, boys? Yeah. That'd add a little sex appeal to your show. Sam?
Yes, Chief.
Got anything on that girl yet?
Yes, Chief. The teletype just came in a couple minutes ago.
Oh, they got her?
We might say they have. Found her an hour ago in a gully north of Greenville.
Oh, she didn't get far then?
Far enough. She's dead.
Dead?
Yeah. Guess she didn't know too much about driving a sickle. Skidded and sing right through the guardrail last night.
Well, thank you, Sam. You hear that, boy?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta believe it. I don't gotta do anything. You gotta get a new alibi.
All right. Get up there on the platform. Stretch out there. Arms length apart. Hit the light.
Wow, they're bright. Yeah, they could use some scrims.
Okay, Sheriff. We're ready here.
How are we going to get out of this, Joe? I don't know, Charlie. I don't write the scripts. I just act in them.
All right, folks. Will you please come in now? Yes, yes, folks. Just take a chair there anywhere. Right there. That's all right. Just sit down right there. Now, that's it. Now, we're holding these men as suspects. Any of them look familiar to you?
Well, it's hard to say, Sheriff. The holdup happened so fast.
Well, maybe if you heard them speak. What was it that the gunman said to you?
This is a stick-up. Don't move and nobody will get hurt. Something like that.
Well, all right, you men. Now, you men up there, let me hear each one of you say that. That this is a stick-up. Don't no one move and you won't get hurt.
This is a stick-up. Don't no one move and you won't get hurt.
Next.
This is a stick-up. Don't no one move and you won't get hurt.
Yes. Next man.
This is a stick-up. Don't no one move and you won't get hurt.
Yeah. Last man.
This is a stick-up. Don't no one move and you won't get hurt.
That's him. I'll never forget that boss as long as I live. I couldn't see him, of course. It was pitch dark.
In the bank?
No, in my bedroom. He crept in through the window, and he stood over my bed, and I could hear him breathing. And then he spoke. He didn't say those words, of course. And then I screamed.
Yes, well, you can testify to that in court?
Oh, yes.
Well, thank you, Mrs.
It's Miss Freinenhausen.
Oh, I see. Well, thanks, ma'am. Yes. Now, Mr. Johnson, about the bank robber.
Well, I'd like to hear that second man again.
Okay. You, number 2.
Huh?
Speak your piece again.
This is a stick-up. Don't no one move and you won't get hurt.
Well, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, I'm fairly sure that's the voice. He was the only one who spoke. That other one there stood by the door and covered him. He was the one who shot the teller. Yes, I'm positive now. There's no doubt about it. They're the ones.
Good. I want to thank you folks for doing your duty as citizens, taxpayers, and voters. Take them back to jail. Book 'em.
Well, boys, I guess we can stop the play acting. You ready to confess?
We haven't got nothing to confess, Sheriff.
We heard the people. Mr. Johnson will testify in court that you stuck up the bank. And we got you on a breaking, entering, and attempting.
I wouldn't go near an old bag like that if I was alone with her in a desert. Of course, they've seen us before, and they heard us before, every week on a TV set.
I'm satisfied with their identification, and the court will be true. But I'd like to save the county a lot of time and money, and you can make it a lot easier on yourself by just giving me a full confession.
You can save yourself a false arrest suit by letting us go.
On your own say-so?
No, you got our fingerprints. Why don't you send them to Washington?
We don't need the help of the FBI in this county. We solve our own crime.
Excuse me, Sheriff.
Yes, Sam.
They just brought in the body of that girl. Here's her purse. Guess there's no doubt she was the one who drove the getaway car. She was carrying $2,500 of the bank's money in this purse. See?
That's 1/3 of the stolen money. What'd you do with your cut, boy?
Oh, knock it off.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, Joe. Our wallet. Look, she had our wallet in her purse.
What?
Your hands off.
Yeah. Well, look at them, Sheriff. You'll find our driver's licenses and all sorts of ID cards.
Joe Harris. I won't prove it, him. You've been identified by the victim.
Oh, but Sheriff.
Yes?
Your wife's outside, Sheriff.
Well, tell her Yes, sir. Oh, no, that wouldn't be good.
I'm afraid not, sir. She's on her way in.
Elmo, why didn't you tell me you were entertaining celebrities?
Huh?
Clarabelle Starlinghausen called me. Oh, poor thing. She's all confused when she was down here. She was sure she'd seen him somewhere before. And after she got home, she realized where. On TV. Well, aren't you going to introduce me?
Now, look here, Ellie. I'm very busy.
Oh, don't bother. I'd recognize him anywhere. You're Joe Harris.
That's right, ma'am.
And you're Charlie Bloom.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my. This is an honor. Here, Elmo, give me a piece of paper and a pencil.
Yes, sir.
There. Now, would you please give me your autograph?
Oh, I'd be delighted.
You don't know how delighted, ma'am.
Well, what brings you to Althea City?
Your husband.
Why didn't you tell me, Elmo? We could have had a parade and civic celebration. Well, it's not too late for an impromptu reception, at least.
I'm afraid we couldn't make it, ma'am. You see, we're under arrest.
Arrest? What for?
Your husband thinks we're bank robbers, ma'am.
He wants to send us to prison for the rest of our lives.
Elmo, have you lost your mind? Don't you know that these two gentlemen are famous actors?
Not until now.
We tried to tell him.
You want to make yourself the laughingstock of Jackrabbit County? And just before election, too?
No.
Well, you let them go this instant.
But, Ellie, how can I be sure?
Just take my word for it. Oh, honest, I don't know what would become of you if it weren't for me.
Yes, Ellie. Well, boys, here's your wallets. I guess you can go.
Oh, my goodness, I don't know how I can make this up to you. But I'd be tickled pink if you'd come out to the house for supper.
Well, thank you, ma'am, but we're in sort of a hurry.
Yeah, you see, we got to make a picture in Hollywood, and we're a little late.
Well, don't forget us.
I don't think that's possible, ma'am.
And when you come back again this way, do drop in to see us.
Yes, ma'am. We'll think about that, ma'am. We'll think a long time about that.
Suspense, in which William Conrad and Charles McGraw starred in Two for the Road. Written, produced, and directed by William N. Robeson.